Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com. All right. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to another live edition of the O&G StrikeZone right here on the Black College Sports Network. Brian Fulford, Marcus Green, Kelvin Rozier, and we are bowling, ready to go to the A. Peace up, A-Town down. That's right, baby. The Rattlers are about to invade Atlanta, and hopefully you guys have got your tickets ready. And you are ready to brag like none other. Hashtag save the SWAC, as my guy Earl Hankerson put out there earlier. We are going to Atlanta to get the job done for what we just say for what others could not do before us. So, Marcus, Kelvin, how you doing tonight? You're on mute. I don't know if you're on mute or where are you?
I'm doing good. I'm wheels are going up tomorrow
Chuck
morning
your
at 11.
Plum food, Chuck.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot. I'll catch Chuck on the next go break. Go ahead, Marcus. What were you saying?
No, I'm saying wheels up tomorrow morning at 11. I should hit the A at about 2:30. So I'm excited.
Yeah. How about you, Kelvin? What's the trip looking like for you?
Well, I was supposed to leave early in the morning, but it'll probably be early Friday morning before I get there. But I'm excited, man. It's championship weekend. You see, I got my new graphic in the background. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, I'm
guard the swag. Guard the swag.
Exactly. Hey, I'll be hitting the road. Man, it's gonna be real early enough. For some reason, somebody scheduled a basketball game tomorrow, so I have to coach a game, then somehow find some sleep, and then hit the road. So, I got to keep my my team unbeaten. So I got to be there to kind of coach them up and then got to watch the varsity stay unbeaten as well, help out there. And then hopefully we take care of business, and then I can get on the road. So hopefully we will be there, all three of us in Atlanta, Georgia. Looking forward to it. All of us will be on Media Row Friday. So we're going to be doing a live show on Friday in the daytime. So you're going to catch the O&G StrikeZone live from Celebration Bowl Media Row Friday. We're going to hopefully get a chance to talk to some of the players and coaches and just other celebrities, dignitaries who may roll around the Media Row area. So, of course, we're there with the Black College Sports Network. So not only ourselves, but Dr. Cavill's inside the HBCU Sports Lab will be there. And we're looking forward to it. No telling what the rest of the night holds. It is a noon kickoff on Saturday. So, I don't know how hard. Look, Rattlers, we know how hard we go, right? But, we at some point, y'all gotta pace yourselves on Friday night because the game is at noon, right? That's not normal for us. I can't remember if ever. Kelvin, can you? The last time, if ever, we've had a noon game.
When we played Texas Southern, Milton was the AD. We had a noon game, that first game of the year. I think it was noon 01.
Where was that game played at?
Brad,
noon. It's okay. Noon, 1 o'clock. Wow. Okay. I'm sure that went over real well. So yeah. So anyway, unless y'all just gonna stay up late Friday, you know how y'all party. The A stays open real late. So there's gonna be a lot of people zombie walking into the hotel, lay down, get a quick nap, throw some water and some important parts, and then hit the stadium. We advise y'all to
That's
shower.
what we're going to do.
Right,
That's what we're going to
do. Take time to shower. I'm going to just go ahead and advise y'all now to shower. If you shower, that'll help wake you up, and you'll be clean going to the game. But some of y'all are going to stay out till 3 in the morning. We know what y'all going to do. Some of y'all are going to be zombie walking into the hotel at 3, 4 in the morning because it's the first time y'all been in Atlanta with your Rattlers family in forever. But that's just how it's going to be, right? Yeah. So
y'all can tell me about it.
Yeah, exactly. Some of us going to hit the bed a little early, or at least be in place because we got to be up early on Saturday. And, a lot of pregame festivities going on. Not the Battle of the Bands, but the Band of the Year competition will go on Friday evening. So, North Carolina A&T versus Jackson State, or I should say I'm not even going to try, the Marching Gold Aggies. I know that's not their name, but
Blue and Gold Marching Machine.
The Blue and Gold Marching Machine. Thank you, Marcus. That's who a lot of folks, you'll be looking for. It's not about rooting. It's not about rooting. Nobody on this show is going to be rooting for one band or the other, I don't think. But we're just going to be enjoying the show. And then, of course, you have the Division II competition between Florida Memorial, who does have a FAMU alum leading them. So we will be rooting for Florida Memorial. And then, of course, Virginia State Trojan Explosion, greatest nickname ever. They will be marketing. Yeah. So yeah. So that'll be happening.
Not when you're in college, though.
Oh well, no. Not if you're a parent. Not if you're a parent of college students is not a fun name either. So, all right, let's get to some shout outs here as Rattler Nation's checking in. Good to see everybody on our normal YouTube channel. We're always on the Jericho Broadcast Network's YouTube page and our own YouTube page. We're also on the mybcsn.net/watch page. So those of you who are internet inclined, you can always watch the show there and on Facebook as well. First one in the door for tonight is Jimmy Mack. Jimmy Mack, good to see you. Carve some bison steaks. Is that what he's doing? Just time to carve some steaks, some bison meat. That sounds like where Jimmy Mack is going with that. Maybe, right? Maybe.
Good evening.
Good evening. Tremaine Ellis checking in. Exactly. We're trying to go 1-0 this week. We look forward to seeing you on Saturday, Tremaine. Meredith, good to see you. Thanks for checking in with us. Montre Bennett, what up, what up, what up? Montre. Marcus, coming up to the state. We look forward to seeing you, Marcus. I know you'll be there. I know you'll be in the house. Tony, good to see you. Hi. Exactly. Good to see you, Tony. Thanks for checking in. Tamara T, let us know if you guys are coming to the game. I know if you're, and, feel free to put your section number. What section are you in? You don't have to give us seat details and rows, but let us know what section you're going to be in when you're going to be there, Good to see you, Tamara. Mary 305, thank you for checking in. Demetra, good to see you as well. Let's see. Jay Brown, checking in. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate you. Montre, I'm sorry to hear that. You're staying in Florida, huh? I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry. All right. Well, hopefully you sold it to some Rattlers. Hopefully you sold those tickets and you got your money's worth plus some. Bill, yeah. Montre said bills needed to be paid. I get that, brother. I get that totally. After what I just spent on a Turo, to get up there, though, I feel you 100%. Melissa Wilson checking in. Good to see you, Melissa. Yes, indeed. Checking in. Good to see you. B. Starks coming in. Good evening, fam. How you doing? Good to see you. Miss Joanne checking in all the way from California love. Checking in. Good to see you, Miss Joanne. I know you and the family are making that trip to Atlanta. So you guys safe travels to come see your boy, Jeremy Musa, QB1. He's going to have a big day. I got a great feeling. He's going to have a big day. So safe travels to you and all the family that's coming from the West Coast over to Atlanta for this game. All right, gentlemen. Here we go. It's that time. Bison v. Rattlers. Yeah, that's what we get. That's what we get. Who started that thing that started this whole bougie bowl thing? Where the heck? Who started that? Who started that? Somehow that made it into the press conference on the Celebration Bowl press conference. I ain't gonna say who asked that very first question to lead off the press conference. Might be somebody we all know that represents this network. But anyway, so we get the bougie bowl. Who came up with that? Jesus, help me. All right, fellas. So what do we got here? Let's see. We've had a chance to kind of watch and talk about these teams and this game. Let's kind of get into it. I mean, I know we'll get into talking about some of the extra things, but and I did put together a great tail of the tape graphic here for people who really want to delve inside the numbers. But I found a couple of interesting things. But what are some things? Let's start with you, Marcus. What are some things that caught your eye or catch your eye that you're interested to see as it relates to this matchup?
I want to see our rush defense against their rush offense. I'm interested, and that probably is probably one of the things that I'm looking out for and kind of hopefully tilting our way. But, they got a stable of backs, kind of headlined by Eden James, son of Hall of Famer Edgerrin James. And we have a talented and deep defensive line. And I don't know if we have anybody there may be one. I think Khalil Hunter is either a redshirt freshman or sophomore, and he's kind of a slight build like Isaiah Land along the defensive line. Everyone else, I believe, is at minimum redshirt junior. Defense between defensive ends and tackles, and we got a good rotation. So it's not as though we're going to get pounded and people are going to get fatigued and we won't have the same level. So I'm interested there. And I guess just overall the chess match. I want to see how it goes. I've not watched Howard much other than when they played, who was it, Eastern Michigan early in the season. By the time I turned the game on, they had already given up 2 special teams touchdowns, so it didn't look competitive. Then it came back, and so they're not to be trifled
different
with.
Teams since then. Yeah, whole different teams since then. What about you? What about you, Kel? What are you interested to see? What have you kind of watched?
They're not a whole different team. They're the same team. They're 6-5 for a reason. The only difference is that they play in a conference where they only have 5 conference games. If you look at their scores, They eat by Delaware State. They barely beat Norfolk State. The only team they really blew out was Central. So,
And Morehouse.
I don't know what. Well, in there they lead. Morehouse is Division II. All right, so
I know,
Morehouse. Did they win a game? Did Morehouse win a game? Are you playing Morehouse?
Wow, yeah, no, so, Morehouse did not win a game, to be factual. Yeah,
that's the way I look at it. Yeah. They look like a 6-5 team. I think question number one for me is offensively, which Howard do we see? I don't believe they're gonna be able to run the ball consistently on us. But the question is, can they make enough plays in a passing game in order to stay in the game? That's going to be key. Their offense versus our defense. I'm not so much worried about our offense against their defense. The numbers always was, to beat us, you got to score like 28 points, 4 touchdowns. So can Howard get there? And I'm glad that Marcus, you mentioned the Eastern Michigan game. Because as I looked at the stats for Howard, the one area I thought where we might can take advantage of is their kickoff and their punt coverage. Their field goals, extra points are good. They're top of the conference. Their return game is pretty good. But their coverage is at the bottom of the conference. And there ain't but 6 teams in the conference. So I feel like with a 4-week layoff, that is an area where Howard has to be careful. I believe that's the area where we can get some cheap points.
Yeah.
And I guess to your
that's
point,
a little carrot for you.
To your point, Kelvin, I know they have a standout on defense. I don't recall the young man's name, but I think he made
Kenny Gallup.
Kenny Gallup, right.
Yep. Junior.
Now, he's a standout. He's a standout on defense.
Yeah,
but he can't be everywhere. And I think we have the talent and depth and experience we have at all positions, but especially receiver. I mean, he can't cover 4 or 5 guys. He can't cover the tight end. We got Kamari, we got Jeremiah, we got Kobe Gross, and so we can rotate them out. We've got wide receivers with speed to burn, who can get upfield real quick. And so I think that's going to put some stress on their defense as well, just because the sheer volume of talent that we have at all skill spots on offense.
Taking a look at Howard's schedule here in the conference, which of course the way their schedule is, you obviously play more non-conference games than conference games. So in their final 5 conference games in which they went 4-1, all of those games, with the exception of the North Carolina Central games, were decided by a touchdown, by 7 points or less. They defeated Norfolk State by 4, Delaware State by a touchdown, a bad Delaware State team, by the way. And they lost to South Carolina State by 3. The North Carolina Central game, we understand there was payback, but also I've heard that North Carolina Central had about 15 guys that were out that game due to COVID. Now, I don't know if that's just internet reports or how true that is. I didn't hear anybody in the immediacy after that game bringing that up, but it is something that's been brought up since. So you take that into consideration, that they beat North Carolina Central 50-20. And look, they could have just had a perfect game. Could have just had, that happens. Every now and then you just have a perfect game. And then, of course, the Morgan game, they only won by 7. And so in terms of other one-score games, they lost the game to Hampton by 1. Recall that as Hampton came back. They actually played Northwestern, a Big Ten opponent. They lost by 3 in that contest. Yeah. So, who knows? I mean, and that Northwestern team, I think, is a bowl-eligible team. I think Northwestern, despite losing their coach.
I don't think so. I think they had an interim.
Interim, right. They lost their coach. But didn't they win about 6 games? Northwestern?
Yeah. Yeah, they went on the roll.
Yeah, so they're bowl-eligible. So, I mean, yeah, like you said, they are 6-5 is who they are. You don't know. Are they as good as their record when they beat North Carolina Central, Are they as bad as the 48-7 loss to Harvard? I don't know. Those were their two extremes. So this team is probably somewhere in the middle, to be honest. I think what's interesting, and you're gonna make me pull the stats out. I was looking at the tail of the tape earlier. What I don't think. Let me go ahead. Should I go ahead and pull them out now? Should I pull out the tail of the tape?
Pull them out.
Pull them out.
Pull them out.
Pull out the stick. Pull out the stick.
Stop it. Okay, so what I find interesting, our numbers. When you look at just total, I don't think we have met a team that has given up as much against the run. I mean, the SWAC teams that we have played have actually been very good against the rush. Howard, when you look at their rush defense, giving up 186.6 a game, that is extremely high. I mean, I can count on one hand the number of SWAC opponents that we have played that give up less, right? And just to point out, our rushing offense, which you see at now 143.9, I did this chart. Last time I did this chart was against Southern when we were at about 110 per game at Southern. What was Southern? Southern game was number, 5 or 6?
Yeah, it was midseason.
Midseason. So to point out the fact that we have gone up about 30 yards per game since the Southern game, to me, is a key factor that I'm watching. I'm watching to see if we continue to pound the ball against them, against their rush defense, which 186.6. I mean, golly. I mean, look at the total yardage. I mean, they're giving up 316 a game. I mean, there aren't too many SWAC teams that we played. I mean, outside of Valley and maybe UAPB that are bleeding out 316 a game. Now, the flip side of that, we haven't run up against too many offenses that do what they have done. That 383.7, let's not poo-poo that. Let's not look at that and think that, yes, we have a great defense, the top defense, one of the top defenses in the country, but we haven't gone up against an offense at the FBS level, and somebody may check me on this. Please feel free to. 383.7 is pretty impressive. So we have to be, where they do that at. You can see they do it on the ground, 180.9 on the ground, just 202 in the air. Okay, so that's something that I think we have to pay attention to. Anything else? Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
I'm not saying you're wrong. 14 points against Morgan. 20 points against South Carolina. No, 24 points against South Carolina State.
Yes.
20.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
17 against Delaware State. I mean, for me, that's a bunch of empty numbers, to be honest. Now, I will say that the MEAC has pretty good defensive teams, but they're not an offensive juggernaut conference, right? Most of their teams still run the ball and have trouble consistently passing the ball. So those numbers probably project up going against our offense, which can do both, and in spurts can do it at a high level. So I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm just putting it in context.
Sure.
Those numbers aren't great, and they aren't great anyway. But if you consider who they played, the points they done put up, I'm just saying, this, for me, that's why they play the game. That they have 4 weeks off. I'm interested to see how they react to that 4 weeks off. I think we'll be healthier than we've been probably since the beginning of the season. And we have more of a routine that we've been in. So I'm interested to see. Everybody say that 4 week layoff, I'm sure they're going to have some wrinkles that they put into their game plan that we haven't seen before. They have more preparation time, but if they can beat us, then I'm gonna have to put more credulence into this whole 4 week layoff versus the SWAC championship. But as of right now, based on what the body of work both teams have done, this is a double-digit win for FAMU.
Marcus, you want to add anything here that you see from? I've got another graphic that gets into like third down, fourth down. We'll talk about that later in the show. But anything from these numbers that you see that you want to touch on here quickly?
No, Kelvin handled it deftly.
Okay. Okay. And like I said, we'll get to some other notes that we saw from that. Point out a couple things here I see from some people. Tony points out he watched the highlight of Howard. He thinks that we can exploit their special teams, first game and last game kickoff for touchdowns. So, yeah, we'll keep that in mind. Good point there, Tony. Also, hello. Are people really acting like we're an underdog? I don't know. I mean, we are. I saw the opening line that the line opened as FAMU an 8-point favorite. Now I will say that it has been bet down to about 6. So what that means for those who aren't astute with what all that means money is coming in on the Howard side.
Yeah,
so that means a lot of people are putting money on Howard and dropping the number. So with the number being at 6, I jumped on that because I think FAMU wins by at least a touchdown. I think I saw this in an article. FAMU has won 10 of their 11 games by 10 points or more. Was that the stat that we saw? And the only game that we didn't, the only game that we did not was the Southern game.
And that was by 6.
Right.
Was it 25-19 or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So, needless to say, I mean, I saw 6, which means if FAMU wins by 7 or more, winner, chicken dinner. So, your boy jumped on that early this morning. I woke up and saw that, and I may get a little buck wild and crazy here a little bit later if that number if more people keep thinking that Howard is going to keep this close. I may go broke before I may go broke just putting money down on this one, and just count my blessings after the game. So we'll see what happens, but so that's what that means. So no, we are not an underdog. FAMU is at least a touchdown favorite. The total points is 50. That I would be nervous about that in terms of going over 50 again, taking into consideration our defense. And the question is, do you think Howard can score? I mean, they're averaging 28 a game. Do you think Howard can score 4 touchdowns on FAMU's defense? Do you think they can score 3 touchdowns on FAMU's defense? That's the thing you have to ask yourself, because I think it's very possible that FAMU can score 3 to 4 touchdowns on Howard. The question is, what do you believe Howard can do? I don't know if Howard can score 4 touchdowns. I'm just keeping it real simple. I don't think they can score 4. Now, again, factors in things like special teams, defensive touchdowns, extra foolishness, craziness happen, right?
Turnovers, special teams.
Turnovers to special teams. Yep. Okay, so hey, today's show, we got a great show of guests lined up for you. Coming up after the break, we're going to talk to the president of the Marching 100 Band Alumni Association, Kimberly Evans. We're going to talk about the 100, making the trip. We're going to just talk about band stuff. I mean, obviously, a lot of talk over this season, and just the activity and what it takes to move the 100 to these games. A lot of talk, and just the 100. Even though we're not in this Band of the Year competition, we got to find out, is this something that the alumni band, the 100 alumni, do they care about that? Things of that nature. So we're going to talk to her about that. And then at the top of hour 2, we're going to talk to a couple of Howard alums from the media perspective. We're going to talk to Steve Weich. You may have seen him a lot on NFL Network. He's the NFL Network chief national reporter, also a Howard alum. And we're going to talk to D. Orlando Ledbetter from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. He covers the Falcons. He's the beat writer for the Falcons, but he's also a Howard alum. And so we're going to get there. Yeah, what is this? You two Falcons fans. Good God. I can't, man. Anyway,
Right.
we're gonna talk to them about this game. Two major universities, HBCU, two of the blue bloods are in Atlanta, and it's gonna be exciting. So let's make sure we talk to them. We're gonna talk to Kim coming up after the break. So you guys hang in there and get your question, any band related questions. You guys get those ready in the chats, and we'll kind of talk about those. So coming back on the other side of this break, you're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network. We'll be back in just a moment.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
We're going to Florida, and we're going to bring you back a victory to Jackson. God to y'all!
What you say now, Chuck? Man, you a plumb fool, man.
Boy, that doggone Chuck is a plumb fool. Welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Marcus, Kelvin, it's a pleasure to have on the president of the Marching 100 Band Alumni Association, Miss Kimberly Evans. Kim, thanks for joining us tonight. How are you doing this evening?
I am doing well. How are you?
We are wonderful. We're wonderful. Thanks for taking some time out to join us tonight. Man, so let's start with just the introductions of you. What instrument did you play? When were you in the 100? Give us a little background about Kimberly Evans and the 100.
Okay. Well, first, thank you for inviting me to this platform. My name is Kimberly Evans, and I came up in the March 100 in fall of 1992. And that was the time period where FAMU was beginning its growth spurt under the Dr. Humphreys. I ended up graduating from Florida A&M in 1997 with a Bachelor of Science degree in music education. So music has always been a big deal in my life. And of course, it has led to my career as an elementary music educator in St. Lucie County. So that's where I'm teaching right now. So I'm in my 27th year of teaching. Hard to believe. So, but yeah, so I've been in the churches. I'm still in the churches, but I enjoy of it. Yes, thank you. So I know, of course, this week has been quite of a hectic week because, our kids are ready for Christmas. So imagine how they're feeling right about now, as well as the teachers. But in terms of the March 100, I am thankful, truly thankful for the March 100. And of course, I play clarinet. And one of the things I will always tell those who are outside of the 100 family is this: I marched with some of the most innovative, creative people you could ever find. And the ideals that flow through our members, that we put that we put that on the field, we make that into different shows, and it basically speaks for itself. So, but my experience in the March 100 is one that I will never ever trade for anything. And of course, as I've gone through life and through teaching, around 2000, Victor Gaines decided to create the March 100 Alumni Band Association as a way of giving back to the FAMU bands. So I was one of 51 people who helped to begin this association, and I have been involved ever since. And of course, in October of 2021, I was elected the national president of the March 100 Alumni Band Association.
All right. And so we had an opportunity to talk to Victor previously a few months back.
Yes.
So what are some of the functions that that you have as the association president? Because I look at, we talk about affinity groups all the time, and DSOs maybe is better, and there is no bigger alumni group, maybe next to the football alumni, than the Marching 100 alumni. I mean, you are one of the larger. You represent probably one of the larger groups, I think, within the university structure. So how do you just kind of give us an idea of your role and how you kind of organize things to the benefit of the Marching 100?
Well, first and foremost, in terms of the March 100 Alumni Band Association, we are actually a 501c3 organization.
Okay.
And the purpose of our organization is that we support the FAMU bands. That's our number one goal. So we support our bands through giving scholarships and book vouchers to our current March 100 members. We also provide band camp scholarships to students, interested high school students who would love to attend our band camp. And one of the things that we have learned through the years is over 70% of the students who have received a band camp scholarship through our association have ended up becoming members of the March 100. So we know that our scholarships are pretty much like a recruitment tool, an investment into the future of the March 100. Along with providing scholarships and book vouchers, we do provide in-kind gifts to the FAMU bands. So at any time, if the band needs assistance in anything, we are there to assist. So I'm happy to just, number one, serve in this, not only just serve in this capacity, but just to be of assistance to the FAMU bands, because I know how much the band has given to me. And so I want to definitely give back and so much more back to the band.
Right. Go ahead, Kelvin.
So I'm assuming part of your duties, when I saw you the SWAC championship game, like you had a lot of water there. So I'm assuming that part of your helping to supply water to the band on game day.
Yes. One of the things we do and we have done through the years is, yes, we have provided water for the band if the band is in need of, anything, basically. So any way that we are able to assist, we are there. So I once again, we are just thankful that we are at the point where we are able to give back to the bands the way that we do. And our goal is to not only to continue to do what we do, but give more to the band program.
Okay, do you have to be a former member of the March 100 to be a part or to contribute to the Alumni Band Association? And do you have like a website, or how can people become members?
Well, we do have these levels of membership. We do have the regular membership, which is for all who are former March 100 members. We do also have associate membership. That is for those who may not have marched the band, but they love the band so much that they rather give back to the band through our association, through their due structure. And we also have a subscribing life, which is like a a 4-year payment plan to become eventually a life member. And we do have the life memberships as well. So you do not necessarily have to be a member of the Marching 100 to become a member of the association. So you can do that through the associate membership.
Okay.
All right.
And what about the website?
Oh, and the website, of course, is www.marching100, the number 100, alumni.com. And also, when you go through our webpage, there is a donation section. So if you're the type in which you just want to donate towards the general scholarships, if you want to give towards a band camp scholarship, that is another way that you can also contribute to our association.
I got that website right there, Kimberly, marching100alumni.com. So you guys online there in the chats, make sure you check that, add that to the bookmark. Make sure you got that so you can go contribute there. Go ahead, Marcus.
Ms. Evans, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
My question would be for, I guess, unique events and supporting the family athletics like the Celebration Bowl and next fall for the MEAC SWAC Challenge. How involved is the Marching 100 alumni in the logistics and support of the Marching 100 in participating in those events? And what does that look like behind the scenes?
Well, basically, number one thing that I do is I always keep in consistent contact with the director of bands, Dr. Shelby Chipman, as well as the band staff. So I always get in contact with him and I always ask, hey, where do you need us? Do you need anything? And so, of course, Dr. Chipman and I, we have a very good rapport. So we basically work together to make sure that wherever it needs to be taken care of on the scenes and behind the scenes, it is taken care of. And what's really neat is what's also very helpful for us is we not only have just our general national organization, but we also have local chapters. So we do have the Tallahassee local chapter, Atlanta local chapter. We also have Jacksonville chapter, DMV chapter, which consists of the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. So that's approximately around 8 states. And we also have the South Florida chapter, which is Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade County. And we also have the Tampa Bay area chapter. So we do have local chapters who are also there to assist the FAMU bands. So for example, if the band was to travel to, like for example, if the band was to travel to South Florida, where we, especially the last couple of years for the Orange Blossom Classic, the South Florida chapter was there to assist as well as to welcome in our band staff, the students during that weekend. So there's always a way through our local chapters and through the national chapter to assist the band. So in terms of the Celebration Bowl, of course, yes, we will definitely be there to root our band on. And of course, if any help is needed right away, we are there.
Okay. Well, a quick follow-up question on that. Do you have large enough local chapters in strategic areas in proximity to our SWAC opponents or our SWAC counterparts, such that when the 100 goes to those away games, that it's not overreaching, for someone to try, for the Marching 100 Alumni Association to help out? Like Houston, Dallas, Alabama, things like that.
Well, I know in terms of Texas, we do have a few March 100 members, and it is starting to grow. Of course, if there is any interest in a chapter developing, then of course we will then go to procedures in terms of developing a chapter for those particular areas. But our largest number of March 100 alumni live in Miami-Dade, Broward County area. Atlanta, of course, there's a large contingency and they can't wait for the 100 to get there. And also Jacksonville, that's another large area of March 100 alumni. And of course, if you didn't know, of course, Dr. Julian White is a native of Jacksonville. So that's, that's home. So, Jacksonville has that large contingency as well. And of course, the Tallahassee chapter, they're locally right there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Kimberly, let me ask. Okay, so let's get into some of the juicier conversations and topics that are out there related to the band. And first off, let me ask: when you were a student, when you were in the 100, what were some of the road trips? And because obviously that time we were in the MEAC, so what were some of the trips that you enjoyed going to when you were a student? What do you call it? I know we have student. I know what's the phrase? Student band member, I guess. Or,
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, it was quite a few. I know the number one trip that really sticks out in my mind is and I remember the date so well. It was October 1st, 1994.
Wow.
We destroyed Tennessee State's homecoming.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Destroyed. It started with the parade, okay, because they had their parade is like at 8 o'clock in the morning, just like how our parade is. And so we were a little bit late. However, Dr. Foster, God rest his soul, Dr. Foster was adamant. He was like, hey, we gotta do this parade. Cool. So we were at the very end of their parade. So, and I thought that was ended up being strategic because those who were at the parade remembered the 100 because we were last. And that year we were 340 strong that year. So just imagine 1994, 340 strong. Yes. Okay. And so we took over the parade. Okay. Yeah, that was done over with. So their homecoming game was held at Vanderbilt Stadium because Hale Stadium could not hold the crowd at all. And of course, Nissan Stadium wasn't even around during this time. So they had their homecoming game at Vanderbilt Stadium, and we marched into the stands. And that's not a typical thing the 100 does, is march into the stands. We marched into the stands, and I knew right then and there that this was going to be the performance of the century. And not only did we have a wonderful show, we basically sold Tennessee State's crowd. Football team won that game. So basically, yeah, we destroyed their homecoming. So I remember that game very, very well. Other trips I remember we took was, of course, we did come to Atlanta a lot. If we didn't play Tennessee State, we would play either A&T there. I think we played A&T in Orlando one year. Of course, Florida Classic. Let's just say Bethune-Cookman's band was different then. They were small. Real small. So it wasn't as intense of a band competition back then. It was like Big Brother versus Little Brother, basically, during the Florida class, especially when it was in Tampa at that time. But those trips really stuck out to me in terms of football season. Now, outside of football season, I do remember vividly we performed at the Walt Disney World anniversary. I think it was the 25th anniversary special. That was an awesome experience during that time. And we also, in 1993, we opened up for the Florida Marlins. That was very, very interesting as well. So the trips, it was a lot of them, but I am thankful for the exposure and for those opportunities because, performing in front of thousands and thousands of people, that's something you'll never forget.
Right. Kelvin, go ahead.
Kim, I'm interested to your thoughts on the HBCU band competition that is going to be held Friday and the scoring system. And what do you think could be improved with the scoring system? I thought the 100 had a pretty good season. I thought they had a really strong season, actually. And I don't think the scoring matches, the performances. So I just want to hear your opinion on that.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree with you. Personally, I think it is biased. A lot of the categories really don't fit with us, such as the auxiliary. When it comes to auxiliary, most people think of dancers. Of course, the 100 doesn't have dancers. We don't need dancers. And I'm going to tell you why we don't need dancers. Because our women dance and play instruments at the same time. We're multifaceted. So, that's what makes the 100 so unique. However, in terms of the competition, one thing I can say is we do have March 100 alum that are competing in the competition this year, and that is Florida Memorial University under the direction of Mr. Richard Beckford. And so we definitely wish Florida Memorial University their very best because they've only been a band program for less than 5 years. So for them to get into this actual situation is a wonderful thing for them. Now, in terms of the 100, I'm going to tell you how I feel and how many of us feel. The Marching 100 is the standard. We really don't need a competition. We really don't need, rankings to really tell us how good we really are. Our shows speaks for itself. The invites, we continue to get national and international invites every single year. And yes, unfortunately, we have had to turn it down due to the scheduling. Okay. So I think that once again, since 1946, the Marching 100 has been the standard. We will continue to be the standard. We have, in my opinion, the best band staff any band could ever ask for. The number of years of experience and expertise is second to none. I would not, if there was any other band staff I would wish to deal with, it's just the Marching 100, because you have that expertise and knowledge on the heights of Seven Hills of Tallahassee, Florida, and that's something money could never buy.
So I've had this belief or thought that the 100 was a bit penalized because you mentioned the auxiliaries, and what's funny is we spoke about the auxiliaries at the beginning, and everyone said, well, no, auxiliaries can also include flag corps and other things like that. But I feel like we were penalized because we don't have the dance groups, and then two, that the FAMU didn't do a lot of road traveling this year. We traveled to Alabama A&M.
Correct.
And was that the only road game that we traveled? I mean, in terms of SWAC opponents, I mean, there's only like
in terms of SWAC opponents, I know we did, of course, travel to the Orange Blossom Classic against Jackson State. Right. We did travel to Alabama A&M. The other SWAC opponents this year we did not travel to.
Yeah, no, so I feel like we were a little penalized in some. I can't. That's just my personal opinion. There's no proof to that, and everyone will say no. So I guess it leads me to my thoughts. What are your thoughts about the 100 traveling more during the SWAC season, which seems to be more of that was one of the positives of moving from the MEAC to the SWAC, where you see the bands traveling more. What are your thoughts on us in that environment, and how do we get there? Is it something that you hear students saying that, hey, we'd love to be able to travel more? I know the logistics are a whole nother topic, but just curious, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts are this. If we were to travel a little more, I would say at least one more game, if not two. But one of the things that I want everyone to keep in mind is this. They are still students. We want to make sure that academically that they are staying on track. And one of the things that I'm very happy to announce is, in terms of the current band members of the Marching 100, the average GPA right now is a 3.2. They're doing very well. And as president, one of the things that I heavily support is making sure that academically they are continuing to do well. So in terms of traveling, I wouldn't mind if it was an additional game or two. And we know that does take some money to move the band. However, I don't want to risk that in terms of their academics. So that's how I personally feel about that.
Okay. All right. Marcus, you get a question in there for Kimberly?
Yes, and I guess to kind of follow up, I guess the thing that pops in my mind is with the accolades and the historical performance of the 100 and being the standard, how do you balance the confidence in the band members and the leadership with self-evaluation? How do you make sure it doesn't go too far? This pendulum doesn't swing too far one way or the other?
Well, one of the things I could truly say about, of course, being in the 100 is this. Yes, we are hard on ourselves. If anything, we always take the time to look at, okay, what worked? What did not work? What steps can we take to take this show or take the next show to the next level? So I think the evaluation process is something that is ongoing amongst our March 100 members. We personally feel that the biggest challenge is ourselves, so we always look at ways in which we can continue to do what has worked for the band, but we also take a look at what steps do we need to take to continue to make whatever improvements need to be made. But I think that the evaluation process is something that is ongoing. And one of the things about our students, at times we can be hard on ourselves at times, but at the same time, as a band that is the standard, yes, that is part of the territory.
All right. Kimberly, let us know what events or where will the 100 be this weekend in Atlanta, so that people can see them. Any special events that are going on for this Celebration Bowl weekend?
Yes, absolutely. I know on Saturday morning, approximately around 8:30, there is going to be a little band extravaganza that's going to be held at State Farm Arena, which is right next to the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That's going to include the March 100 as well as Howard's band, along with two local high school bands. I know one of them is Columbia High School, and the band director is a March 100 alum. And we also have another band in the Atlanta area, and I think that band director is from Howard University. So that will take place on Saturday morning at 8:30. And of course, immediately after the band extravaganza, then they, of course, going to transition to the Celebration Bowl, as the band will be ready and fired up to root our football team on. So that's what will be taking place with the band this weekend.
Do we know if, and I'm trying to recall from last year when I was at the Celebration Bowl, that was my first time going, are there plans to do a zero quarter or a fifth quarter? Do we know how that is scheduled to work? Any word on that?
No, there's no word on that as of right now. I may think that there may be some type of zero quarter going on, but of course there's going to be a lot going on, especially with it being on national TV, ABC. So we haven't received official word in terms of a zero quarter or fifth quarter, but we will definitely find out soon.
All right. And the band is all, with all the TV stuff, a big deal has been made these days about playing during breaks and all that stuff. Hey, once we get up by 25, the 100 can play whenever. I mean, it is whatever.
Exactly.
Just let them play. Let them blow it out.
And that's what our crowd looks for. Don't get me wrong. I am a football fan. Kevin's my witness. I support my football team 100%. I told Coach Simmons that as well. However, we all know our people come to see our football team and they come to see the band. So, they definitely want to hear the band play. So I definitely wholeheartedly agree with you.
Yes, they do. All right, folks, you make sure to hit up marching100alumni.com. Kimberly, we appreciate you coming on. Thank you for sharing some insight with us. Anytime you want to come on and tell us some news or if you want to use us to promote anything going on with the Alumni Association or to help the student, the band members of the Marching 100, you got a place. This is a forum for Rattlers, for family. So you hit us up, let us know, and we'll bring you on the show or promote whatever you got. Okay, let us know.
Absolutely. And once again, thank you so much for inviting me. I greatly appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. All right. We appreciate you.
Kim, do you have a social media handle, or personal one, like
yes,
either on Instagram or Twitter?
Yes, on Facebook, I'm under Kimberly Evans, and under Instagram, my name is Superior92. That's my Instagram page.
Okay.
All right. Wonderful. All right. Thank you very much, Kimberly. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you in Atlanta. Drive safe heading up, okay? Or fly safe, however you're getting up there.
All righty.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, appreciate Kim for coming on and joining us. Want to remind you, I put in the chat room earlier for you guys a poll. Put up there a nice little poll, a BCSN poll that I'd like for you guys to make sure you answer. So we'd love to hear your thoughts on that poll. So if you didn't see it, I'll put it up again in the chats via there's the poll right there. So if you're watching, you can take our poll, BCSN, mybcsn.net/watch/polls. I'll go ahead and put that up in the chats. Go ahead. Love to hear your thoughts on that poll. Coming up on the other side, we're gonna hear about the other side. Of course, we always like to bring the insight from the other side, you know, and so there's no one of the blue bloods, you know, if you do the whole Mount Rushmore of HBCUs, of course there's us like in that George Washington position. But then there's other universities like Howard and maybe some other schools. Definitely not Jackson State, but there's some other schools that might be on that Mount Rushmore. So we're going to talk to some fellas, some alums from that other school that we'll be taking, that we'll be going up against this weekend. And we're talking to Steve Weiss and D. Orlando Ledbetter. And we're going to talk to those Howard alums and kind of find out what their plans are and their take on not just this weekend, but HBCUs in general, and how we can turn this momentum that both FAMU and Howard are coming into Atlanta with into something sustainable and meaningful, not just for these programs, but our athletics and our HBCUs in general. So coming up right on the other side, hang in there with us. You're watching the O&G StrikeZone. I almost said another show right here on the Black College Sports Network.
We're back. It's time for the 2024 Urban NerdCon. Join us in Atlanta, Georgia, April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel. Special guests include Underworld creator Kevin Grievous, Gary Gray from Fairly Odd Parents, from Nickelodeon, Giovanni Samuels, the Science Machine Michael Green, the Sci-Fi Sisters, and from Spaceballs and Star Trek Voyager, Tim Russ.
Hi, I'm Tim Russ. Join me April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia for the Urban NerdCon. Our heroes, our villains, our stories. Everyone con. I'll see you there. Live long and prosper.
Visit theurbannerdcon.net to get your buy one, get one free badges before the price increases. Remember, our heroes, our villains, our stories. Everyone's con. See you there.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
All right, welcome back to the O&G StrikeZone. Brian, Marcus, Kelvin, it's a pleasure to be joined tonight by a pair of Howard alums, but more importantly, not that they're just Howard alums, but let me introduce first off, down on our screen here on the left side of the screen, you got D. Orlando Ledbetter of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. He's the Falcons NFL writer and a Howard alum. D. Orlando, welcome to the show. When were you at Howard? When were you a Howard grad from what year?
1980 to 84. Print journalism major, political science minor, but I was also the announcer for the public address announcer at Green Stadium for the football team.
Nice. And also joining us, you see on the bottom right side of the screen, Mr. Steve Weiss, the NFL Network chief national reporter and a Howard alum. Steve, welcome to the show, sir. When were you at Howard?
Hey man, first off, I wanted to salute you guys for what you're doing and bringing recognition to the Rattlers and representing and doing all that's important for our HBCUs. I'm gonna be humble right now, but do not let these lights win. Okay, so I transferred to Howard from University of Missouri. I transferred Howard in 1986. I was there from 86 through 89, and me and D-Led have known each other for decades. That's my right-hand man there. So I'm glad you got both of us on here.
Okay, so we're gonna hear. Okay, so we're gonna get some good stuff here. Some good
but salute to you, brothers, for real, man. Salute. This is big. I love that you guys are doing this.
Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. Okay, so this is a big game. I mean, let's not understate it. I mean, two of the top three nationally ranked, recognized HBCUs. We can go down the list. You know, I thought about doing a whole Howard versus us. You know, they talked about you guys are the brand, the Jordan brand. We're the LeBron. You know, we can go through the back and forth. But when you look at this game, see. Kelvin, go get the shoes. Kelvin, I know you got the shoes somewhere. Go break out the bronze. See, we're gonna do that. But anyway, let's start with Orlando. Let's kind of talk about the importance of this game for Howard and just Howard alums. How are you guys processing being here in this place?
Yeah, Marcus, it's been a long journey for us from the 90s when we were relevant and had a nationally championship level team under Coach Willie Jeffries. We had a good run there under Coach Mike London, went out and beat UNLV. And Coach Larry Scott came up from South Florida in his time in the SEC at Tennessee State and has vowed to rebuild the program and wanted to bring championship level play back to the Mecca. And he's done that in a short period of time with the great recruiting and good ball playing. So it's a big part of the whole college experience. It's always great when you have quality teams on the field, and that's going to be opportunities for the individuals, whether if it's in the football field or the business world or their chosen fields of academia.
Mm-hmm. And Steve, will come over to you and kind of get your thoughts as well, and maybe because we're familiar with you, or those who aren't aware, you are a great advocate in your national platform there on the NFL Network for HBCUs, especially when it gets time to that drafting period and looking out through whether it be the HBCU Legacy Bowl and things of that nature. So what as a Howard alum, what kind of juices, what are you feeling about this game and just opportunity for Howard?
I'm fired up for it. I mean, and D-Led knows this, and he said it very well. Like when we were there in the 80s, when Coach Willie Jeffries had come over from Wichita State, you remember he was the first black head coach in Division 1A football, and then they canceled the program, so he came to Howard. We were always in contention, right? We were winning the MEAC when the MEAC was a 10-team conference. And then Steve Wilson came in the 90s, and he had Jay Skywalker and Antoine Bethea, and so that was good. And again, Mike London brought it back, then we dipped, and now Coach Larry Scott has really done some great grassroots stuff, and his recruiting base is strong. Howard's not going anywhere. Like, they got a lot of really good young players coming up through the pipeline, so a lot of their talent are sophomores, and juniors. So it's an exciting time because, look, I'm front and center in athletics as a D-Led, as you guys are uncovering it. But we all know, like, strong athletic programs raise the profile of your university. And it's a hard thing at HBCUs to keep people understanding that. But with the football team doing what it's done, it's energized things. Hopefully we can keep this. We don't lose Coach Scott, because at HBCUs, once you get a good one, someone's going to try to take him away. But this is what I love, because Florida A&M, you guys have enjoyed sustained success for so long. I mean, just so many great head coaches have come through there, so many NFL players, great men like Ken Riley going to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which D-Led is a selector for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So I'm just so glad we're going up against such an astute university led by the great Willie Simmons, who I've got the highest and utmost respect for. So it's a showcase. I mean, and anytime you have a nationally televised game, but what you guys have said, like between two elite universities, to showcase the stature, right? When they start showing Howard University, Thurgood Marshall, Kamala Harris, Chadwick Boseman, and Florida A&M, all the great alums who've come to – that says to that 16-year-old who's thinking about going to college, oh, I can go there and I can do this. That's what's hugely important about a game like this, showcasing, like you guys said, the LeBrons and the MJs of the blue blood HBCUs.
Yeah. Go ahead, Marcus. I'll let you get in there. What you got?
Yeah, so once again, thank you, both of you, for accepting our invitation to come on the show and provide your insight. I guess another thing I want to bounce off of you, we know that since, I guess there's been a highlight, the HBCU quality has always been there from the academics and athletics, but hasn't always had the spotlight. And we know since some of the events of 2020, having a captive audience due to COVID, but also some of the George Floyd tragedy that more of a spotlight has been put on. What can we do to make sure this is sustainable and not just something that's, in some eyes, for those who aren't HBCU down forever, that this isn't just a passing fad in terms of support, in terms of watching, supporting the game, supporting the athletes, supporting the schools. And it's not just, hey, I'm putting HBCU on my social media just to try to get some props or get some clicks.
D-Led, why don't you go ahead and take that?
Yeah, no question about it. I think what it does is gives a inlet to those folks who may not, and I'm found out I'm third generation Howard. And my aunt went there in the 40s. I'm second, and my kids are third. So, you know your history, you know where you came from, and where you're going, and that you can get there from many different paths. That the kids turned down PWI scholarships because they felt comfortable and thought they could achieve what they wanted to do at this great university in the nation's capital. So as far as athletics and moving forward here, I think we have to realize that, there was a lot of infighting given the Jackson State situation. But my take was, hey, that lifts all boats.
Yep.
And, and gives everybody a chance and opportunity to strive for greatness. And we've seen Central try to do it. They did it last year. South Carolina State did it the year before. And, we plan to do it again on Saturday.
Here we go.
Keep the trophy in the MEAC.
Here we go.
Yeah. Our coach is staying, though. Our coach isn't out the door, though. So, I mean, that's the problem spot for y'all. Our coach is staying. He coming back.
Oh, okay.
Well, good for y'all.
Okay. I hope so, man. I love what Willie's doing. But I love what Willie's doing. I mean, he's developing talent that we're seeing can get to the NFL. I live in Los Angeles. I see Xavier Smith, last year's superstar player from the SWAC. He's on the practice squad from the Rams, but they love him. I mean, it's just he can't crack the squad with Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, but he's going to get some run. They love him. So, but I love what Willie's doing there, but also what you're saying to amplify is kind of, we as alums, we just have to keep wearing our colors, right? We have to let people know that you can do this at an HBCU. And what's important is we have to show our university presidents the importance of athletics and bringing attention to our universities, because that's the hardest thing historically. You can talk to Doug Williams, you can talk to any of these guys from HBCUs. It's to convince university presidents that athletics can bring a highlight to your university as a whole, even though you may have other departments, whatever, that need funding or need this. Don't all of a sudden bury athletics, because if you can get a kid like D-Led said, who was thinking about going to University of Washington or Florida State, to go to a FAMU, to go to Prairie View, to go to South Carolina State, that's huge. Like our school, Howard does not take transfer portal kids, right? Some other schools do. And that's important, right? We need to keep on making sure you can get your athletics, but you can get your academics there as well. So you guys doing your show, me and D-Led constantly representing our colors and representing all HBCUs and not spreading hate. Yeah, we talk our jibber jabber.
Yeah.
But not spreading hate.
Love.
Right.
It's we have got to always keep it love, no matter what, even though it's hard for us to keep it out of our mouths. We've got to understand that we've got to continue to uplift, man, because we can do everything and then some. And I know I started out at the University of Missouri. I went there to play football for a couple of years, and I came to Howard. And that's where I felt most comfortable, got my education, and I will wear my Howard colors 10 times out of 10.
Steve, you spend a year in the SWAC, and you might rethink some of that love. I'm just gonna say that you spend a good year dealing with some of these SWAC folks that we've been dealing with for the past 2-3 seasons. You might have some different thoughts. I'm just saying.
Oh no, I know what's up.
Yeah, hey, somebody put in here. Did you play quarterback? Were you a quarterback at Howard?
No, I never played when I went to Howard. Once I transferred from University of Missouri, where I played football, I went to Howard. And I wanted to walk in D-Led's shadow in that school of communication, the school of journalism. So I was going to play football when I got there, but as a transfer back then, I could not participate for 9 months.
Okay.
So during that time, I went to a couple of homecomings and things like that. Like, now life is good.
I bet. I heard we heard y'all got like the second best homecoming in the on the earth.
Get him, D. Get him, D. Get him, D.
We're undefeated at homecomings too.
Hey, tell me this. Here's whenever someone starts that business, I'm gonna say, when's the last time you heard FAMU mentioned in a rap lyrics homecoming?
I knew
we've been dropped about 20 times.
Oh man!
So even if it's been once, you got 19 or so to catch up.
Yeah, we got, unfortunately, we get guys who drop rap albums and then it becomes a national story of headache. So yeah, I got you. I got you on that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kelvin. What's your question there for D. Orlando or Steve?
So the Rattlers have 3 guys in the NFL right now on rosters, and there's a lot of other HBCUs. Yeah, there's a lot of other HBCUs also that have players who are not just in the league, but major contributors and so forth. What can we do to get more of those players drafted, especially when they've had great seasons? Like, for instance, Isaiah Land and Xavier, they were national players of the year, not just HBCU players of the year. They played against D1 schools, and they had their best games against those D1 schools a lot of times. They played in the playoffs, but yet nobody got drafted. So kind of explain that whole draft process and how can we get more HBCUs drafted when they have, I understand tweeners and so forth, but when the numbers are there, the production is there, how can we get more of them drafted?
Yeah, D-Let, I'll jump on this, and you can follow me because, I'm very involved with the HBCU Legacy Bowl as well, where we try to showcase the top 100 most draft-eligible players at an all-star game in New Orleans. All the team scouts are there. We have a combine to showcase this. And the big issue isn't just HBCUs. There have only been, I think last year, there were only 11 FCS players drafted. So it's the North Dakota states, even some of those powerhouse programs, Coastal Carolina, schools like that. NFL teams just aren't going there. And it's unfortunate because there is a type of stature that comes with being drafted. But look at Marquise Bell. Right, Marquise Bell wasn't drafted out of FAM, but now he's a starting will linebacker for the Cowboys and is balling. Right, so to go back to the old Eddie Robinson adage, what did Doug Williams need to get to be a first-round draft pick? He's needed an opportunity. And that's what it comes with. Now, the hard thing is these NFL teams no longer can have the excuse of not having access to players because of the Legacy Bowl, because of all the tape that's out there. And they see these kids, but a lot of times it is a tweener issue. Like Isaiah Land played at 215 at defensive end almost his whole career. All of a sudden he pops up at 230 at the combine. So people are like, okay. But here he is with the Colts, and he's doing his thing after being initially taken in with the Cowboys. So a lot of times teams will bring these guys in, put them on the practice squad to get them on an NFL training table, to get them on an NFL weight room, to get them some NFL coaching. And not to say that it's always subpar at HBCUs, but a lot of guys develop differently. A lot of guys at these FCS programs haven't developed as quickly as some of these guys going to Georgia and Alabama. So That's part of it. I mean, we could sit there and talk about it and beat the drum for these guys to be drafted. But what we've just seen, and D-Led, you can jump on this, is that just these NFL teams are taking players from bigger programs. And I will say this, I'll add this. I do think that coming out of COVID now, that's going to change a little bit. COVID slowed things down, especially with these 6-year eligible guys and things that slowed down some of the FCS stuff. So I think you're going to start seeing some more FCS guys get drafted as opposed to what we've seen coming out of COVID.
And what I do is make sure that I have the list of all of the top HBCU pro prospects. Howard's got the tackle. FAMU's got the quarterback. You all got I think 3 or 4. Howard's got the quarterback and the defensive back, Gallup. So and I make sure that I spread those names around to my scouting network and make sure that hey, when they are at the combine or at the Legacy Bowl or at the HBCU combine or if they get invited to the Senior Bowl, that we make sure that we cover them. And then I also make sure that I tell the story of Bill Nunn. I was a finalist for the Bill Nunn Award 2 times, one time last year. That's the Hall of Fame Pro Football Writers Award. Went to our other Howard colleague, Jim Trotter. Bill Nunn was the sports writer for the Pittsburgh Courier, who covered the SWAC and all the black colleges back in the 60s, out of integration and so forth. And if you look at the Steelers of 1978, he's got like 16 brothers on that team, that were recruited from the HBCUs. And so, and all of a sudden, the Steelers were nothing. They came from nowhere. They hired him on staff as a regular full-time scout. He was just putting together the Black School All-American team and running the Sheridan Black College Poll out of Pittsburgh. So I like to tell his story, and then as much as I can, away from my Falcon duties, is make sure that I also tell the stories of these great players coming up through the ranks. Tavarius Jackson was the last, black quarterback out of Alabama. He died in a car accident, but he was getting ready to get into coaching. Robert Mathis is in town. He's up for the Hall of Fame in Canton right now. Byron Cook, he started at Howard, but went to Cincinnati. He's with the Chiefs now. And so, I know where all the players are, and we try to track them on the practice squads and so forth, and publish the list of all these players early in the season so that, just not, coming out of a bad place or anything. And then you track them and just keep sharing them with the people that are going to be making those decisions and so forth. And, hey, if you're trying to be competitive, you want to get a leg up, there's a whole talent pool out there that can help you get better. And now we're trying to see if some of the teams are going to return to that old formula that the Steelers used to put them over the top.
And you do see some teams that do hit HBCUs and like to bring some teams in. You'll see some teams that will routinely have players from HBCUs on them. And so that's another thing. And, D-Led and I also do things, we highlight guys like Brad Holmes, the GM for the Detroit Lions, who played ball at North Carolina A&T and things like that. So everybody can see, like, okay, you can do this. You can do this. Leslie Frazier, who now works at NFL Network, he was a star. He was a star player at Alcorn. People forget that he played. He was such a great coach. People forget that he played for the 85 Bears, was starting DB on that team. Right, he's with the Black College Football Hall of Fame. So we have to amplify those guys, amplify the Jay Skywalkers and Antoine Bethays. And just so young people, and these coaches, here is another thing. These coaches and athletic departments can't be coming up with these, like, their whack websites and stuff like that. Because some of these websites, you go to them, they got stats from 2 years ago. You can't do that. You got to have current stuff to showcase your program and showcase your players and let coaches know. Because you get guys in the NFL, you get recruits coming your way. And we got to get people to start thinking bigger like that, because that is a problem. That is an issue. Now with Larry Scott, now with Willie Simmons, but that's some places where these coaches do not, whether it's funding or not. I can find a freshman who's a computer whiz who can give me a killer website and do it for free and give him 3 hours of credit for it.
Man, great points. Great points. Just in case you didn't know, if you just happened to join us here, joining us on the show, of course, that's Steve Weiss of the NFL Network, the chief national reporter. Make sure you follow Steve on Instagram at Weiss, WICHE 89, the host of the NFL Report, along with James Palmer of the NFL Channel, available on the NFL app, fast streaming platforms, and NFL.com/NFL Channel. Love the report, especially when you guys get into talking about my Indianapolis Colts. So I always enjoy. I got to get that. You guys are Falcons guys, so I got to get in. Yeah. Dirty Bird. We'll be there.
All I know is the Colts have a winning record with a backup quarterback.
Amen. Preach, Steve. and also joining us, you see D. Orlando Ledbetter there of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. He is the Falcons NFL Pro Sports writer. Also an award-winning journalist, has a professional background that includes work in both print and broadcast media. You may have seen him on ESPN's Cold Pizza. Now that's throwback. If you remember Cold Pizza, you were one of the originals right there. I remember Cold Pizza. That was like the OG show right there. ESPN's Quite Frankly and Stephen A. Smith, MSNBC, and of course Sports Center. Currently, let's see what Ledbetter, you joined the University of Georgia faculty in the spring of 2015 and has lectured at the Marquette University National Sports Law Institute and taught at Clark Atlanta University. These well-credentialed Howard Bison are on the show, blessing us with just some great knowledge. And, it's great to talk to some of the OGs who, we're trying to get to where you guys are. Let me keep it real. So appreciate you guys taking time and coming on with us. All right, I got a question. Let me ask a question about, two schools that have had a great history in the MEAC with their quarterbacks, right? We could go, I could throw a name at you, I could throw out Quinn Gray. You guys could probably throw out, Greg
Ted
McGee.
White.
Yeah, I could throw, look, you could throw Ted White. We could talk about
Ted White.
Pat Bonner. Give me your top three Howard quarterbacks. Let's start with you, D. Orlando. Give me your top three. Who are the top three in the history, or even let's go recent history? We don't have to go too deep. Recent history.
Yeah, we can go deep. My top three, and the third one just got in the Hall of Fame last year. Ronald Wilson. He was a dual threat quarterback when I was there. Played under Floyd Keefe, and he went in. He would be Deshaun Watson now. This is before everybody had running dual threat quarterbacks. But Waldo is what we call him. He went into the Hall of Fame last year. Ted Sweet Flight White would be number two for me. And then Jay Skywalker, who took us to the playoffs. And we had an awesome shootout with Randy Moss and the Marshall Thunder and Herd back in the day. That was probably one of the high points of the football program's history. But yeah, Skywalker, Sweet Flight White, and Ron Waldo Wilson are my top three Bison quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's my list. Sky was just a great player. Had spent a couple years with the Patriots behind Tom Brady, and Drew Bledsoe and Tom Brady when he was there. So, that's a great group right there. That was a prolific group.
Nice.
And I was at that historic North Carolina A&T game where he came in for A&T's homecoming. That was my first year of grad school. That's probably like the best game I've ever been to live. That game was electric.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this game, give us a key, if you would, D. Orlando, and then we'll go to Steve. What's it going to take? In all seriousness, we'll give you this opportunity. What's it going to take for Howard to, I don't know if this will be a bigger upset than maybe when South Carolina State beat Jackson State, because I don't think FAM is favored by that many points like Jackson State was. But what's it going to take for Howard to pull the upset?
Yeah, well, they have a balanced attack. They, pretty much split down the middle, 2,100 throwing, about 18, 19 running, both of the backs. So, yeah, you're going to have to play some keep away. Got to get the running game going and then get the play action passes going. they're battle tested. The record's deceiving in that they play pretty much a MEAC/PWI schedule, and Northwestern got all they can handle from the Bison up there in Chicago.
Same with Eastern Michigan.
Yeah, and so did Eastern Michigan. So they're battle tested. The record doesn't look like 6-5. So you are what you are. But yeah, they can put up some points, and they have a balanced attack and some playmakers, and those guys are gonna have to show up on Saturday at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Fine FAMU team. I've been following them for 3 years closely, making the transition with Bell and Land. They were always on my HBCU list that I keep. So yeah, I know that Coach Willie's got them loaded, and one of his guys is with the Falcons, Carterell Hodge, who was a wide receiver at Prairie View for Coach Simmons, and we were talking about Coach Simmons in the locker room yesterday. So yeah, I think got to keep the Rattlers from doing a whole air raid on them, but running the ball and keeping it away is the Bison formula.
Yeah, it's gonna look. Fam's got some players now.
Yeah,
I mean,
we know it.
let's not hide the fact that Fam's got some cats. They got some dudes. I mean, look, Howard's got to protect. Their offense has got to protect the quarterback, and just keep him from giving the ball up. I mean, he's really about the midway through the season. He started playing with the confidence that he needed to play for Howard to make that surge to the tail end of the season. But I mean, on the other side, they have to somehow affect Jeremy Musa, because we know if he's unaffected, how dangerous he can be. But you've seen he gets popped a little bit. Mm-hmm. He's gonna give you, he's gonna dangle a little candy in front of you. So I think he's highly talented. I'm just interested because the records you can't put him. This is the old Buddy Pugh, South Carolina State coach thing, saying MEAC teams going there 6-5 because we get those money games against Northwestern and Maryland and Rutgers and all that because we're a 16 league. Swag, they beat each other up, and if you got a dominant team, that's what happens. They come in with a record like Fam's coming in, and then we'll see. So I'm gonna be humble. I'm gonna be humble right now because I'm expecting Florida A&M to come in with some. They got dudes now. I watch one. They got guys. So we'll see how it all shakes out, but they got to get Musa to turn the ball over a few times.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, if them turnovers happen, anything can happen, and it can become a crazy game at that point. All right, D Orlando, let people
hold on,
know
Brian.
I'm sorry.
Hold on, Brian.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we've been so nice. I'm not being so nice right now. So I'm predicting 100 to massacre the Showtime number one. I mean, I don't even know why they bring Showtime.
Hey, way to go out on a limb, Kelvin.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I'd rather play. I'd rather be against Atlanta A&T personally, but they'll give us a better battle.
We don't keep fan scores at all.
Excellent analysis. About how our season. 6-5, and they have played up to some teams. They played down to some teams too, though.
Yeah, they have. Yeah,
I mean, in the MEAC, they only won one game by double digits. So and we know that FAMU is going to be probably 70% of the crowd. Florida's going to be in the house. So wish y'all guys luck, but y'all gonna take the L on Saturday.
All right,
I love it. Talk about the crowd. Will Howard, there's a lot of concern that Howard may not show. Is Howard going to show up for this game? Is the Bison Nation, are they going to be in the house for this game?
Oh yes, they started leaving DC yesterday. I'm in the Atlanta Alumni chapter. We're gonna be out there in full force. I know the Omega's gonna be out. We're gonna be partnering. I'm out for chapter Omega. We'll be partnering with us on side. So the Q Dogs gonna step in together and turn it out. So we're gonna have us a good time no matter who show up.
So here's what I'll say to that. Because unfortunately I would be there, but I'll be in Cincinnati doing the Vikings Bengals game. I'm in Cincinnati right now. But this football success is new to us now.
Right. True.
Like this is that thing that comes around like an eclipse when it comes to Howard, right? We can put people in the White House, but get to the football championship, that mess is hard for us. So, if we come in light in the fan base compared to FAMU, just say okay, it's a slow burn. We gotta get it back, but we'll represent. We'll represent. We're going to be decent. We're going to let y'all, if you outnumber us with all this, it's all good.
Madam Vice President, she hasn't put out an all call to the Alumni Nation yet, has she? Did I miss that?
Oh yeah, she's gonna be in the house. Yeah,
you better believe Kyle's gonna be in the house.
So Rattlers, you need to get there early because Secret Service, be cutting off traffic. So you might need to get there an extra hour early. If Madam VP is gonna be in the house, that's gonna cut up traffic. So just make sure you get there a little bit earlier. Plan for that. But okay, all right. Well, we shall see. We need y'all to show up. We need, because I think this has a potential to outdraw last year's game, which I think was like 48.
I think they were close to 50.
Yeah, this should. I think this will get over 50. Whatever the capacity is, because they don't open up the upper deck.
Right.
So I think Director Grant said I think the capacity is right about 50 something. So this hopefully should be a sellout, and I think it'll be fun. It'll be good to kind of hear the back and forth, and I think either way it'll be a great television opportunity.
Yeah.
As you said earlier, for both programs to get a lot of exposure, and I'm fortunate that I'll be working doing stats, and I won't have to listen to the broadcast because Tiffany and Jay are going to be going at it all.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
So
I love them both. I can't wait.
That's going to be something. So, okay. D. Orlando, let people know where they can find your work again, where they can follow you, where they can find you at.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at DOrlandoAJC. My newspaper website is ajc.com. And my podcast is the Bowtie Chronicles, everything you need to know about the Atlanta Falcons.
Okay. And Steve, let people know the socials again. And, of course, we see you part of the NFL Network there.
Yeah, on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, I'm at Wyche, WYCHE 89, old jersey number. And also on NFL Network. If you want to watch TV early on Saturday, I'll be doing sidelines for the Vikings-Bengals game. On NFL Network, part of our triple header. Mondays and Thursdays, the NFL Report. That is a streaming show you can find on Roku, Tubi, Peacock, the NFL app. And usually on Sunday morning, including this Sunday morning at noon Eastern time, you can see me on NFL Game Day Preview with Andrew Siciliano, the coach Leslie Frazier, and others.
Hey, well, again, gentlemen, it's truly an honor and a pleasure. If I haven't read your work, I've watched your work, and
Thank you guys, man.
We appreciate you guys coming on and enjoy the experience. I won't tell you to enjoy the game. I'm gonna tell you to enjoy the experience of being in the Celebration Bowl. Because
come on, man.
I'm sorry.
I told you this is new to us.
Well, look, hey,
we're gonna celebrate at the Celebration Bowl.
I'm glad you all backed up. I'm glad you all backed up the swagger by winning the MEAC. So that part, if nothing else, was impressive. So congratulations, and again, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And we'll hopefully be in touch again and get a chance to do it again sometime.
That'd be great, man. Keep uplifting, brothers. Keep uplifting. We got to keep on doing our thing, man.
Thank you, guys. All right.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a blessed evening.
All right. Again, appreciate those guys for joining us. Awesome stuff. Let's take a short break. Come back and let's go through some more Rattler Roundup news and maybe another look at some things related to not only this game, some news in the SWAC. Which, by the way, I got a nice text about the breaking news, the head coaching news that went down today. I got it like 6 o'clock this morning. And, I almost fired off some tweets, but I said, let me wait. Let me just do some research. And then, of course, what do you know? Come out about 4 o'clock. Anyway, we'll talk about that, as well as Chuck Hunt just posted a score update from the Florida Beach Bowl. Looks like somebody was on the beach a little too long these last couple days, as Fort Valley State has a 23-3 lead over Johnson C. Smith in the third quarter. That's SIC over CIAA. Okay, let's take that break. Come back on the other side. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone right here on the Black College Sports Network.
We're back. It's time for the 2024 Urban NerdCon. Join us in Atlanta, Georgia, April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel. Special guests include Underworld creator Kevin Grievous, Gary Gray from Fairly Odd Parents, from Nickelodeon, Giovanni Samuels, the Science Machine Michael Green, the Sci-Fi Sisters, and from Spaceballs and Star Trek Voyager, Tim Russ.
Hi, I'm Tim Russ. Join me April 26th through the 28th at the Cortland Grand Hotel in Atlanta, Georgia for the Urban NerdCon. Our heroes, our villains, our stories. Everyone con. I'll see you there. Live long and prosper.
Visit theurbannerdcon.net to get your buy one, get one free badges before the price increases. Remember, our heroes, our villains, our stories. Everyone's con. See you there.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties. Through its programs, Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and parenting education coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com. All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Brian, Marcus, Kelvin, Rozier. Great interviews there with D. Orlando
Absolutely.
and Steve, and then of course Kimberly Evans before. So hopefully you guys, if you missed any parts of those interviews, you can always watch the replays on YouTube. Of course, you can go to our O&G Strike Zone YouTube page at O&G, just like you see in the top left. And you can go watch the replays of that interview at the bottom of hour 1 and the top of hour 2. And so we appreciate them for coming on. Couple news and notes here I want to get to some just before we get into some of that breaking news that we've seen come across tonight. again, where did I put it at? Want to encourage you guys, if you have not already, to go take a look at our poll, our BCSN poll of the night. Go to mybcsn.net/watch/polls. I put it in the chats a couple times. I'll probably do it here, another poll. Marcus, Kelvin, did you get a chance to go to the poll yet?
I did not. Is it on YouTube?
Where's it at? Is it on YouTube? What do you mean? Is it on YouTube? No, it's not on YouTube. I put it in the.
I saw you put it in the chat. Looking for. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, I put it in the chat. Here, I'll put it in the chat one more time. Boom, there it is in the chat. The chat. There you go. So that way you can take that poll. Just a quick little question poll. One question. Okay. Let's see. Mary 305. She says they told her daughter and her friends to go. Exactly. Tell these young folks, go to the Celebration Bowl game. I look, last year, this is what, let's see, 6-1. This is Celebration Bowl 8, I believe, right? Because it's a 6-1 MEAC record. So this is 8. I went last year for the first time. An outstanding environment. It is literally like the Super Bowl of HBCU football. I mean, you know, if you've been to a Super Bowl when it's been in the host city or a city that you're familiar with, if the weather is great, to be outside, and again, you'll see MEAC fans, SWAC fans, CIAA, SIAC. And I think this year with the added event, the Band of the Year competition will be on Friday night. This is the hub for a celebration of Black college football, Black college bands. You know, this is it. This is the place. And, you know, hopefully the weather is great so that you get a chance to walk around, walk from hotel. Because, I mean, I'm sure Howard will have stuff going on at their hotel, FAMU at their hotel. The Celebration Bowl has a host hotel. They'll be doing MEAC fan parties, SWAC fan parties. I mean, it's just cool to kind of chat with people. And you know how we can be. We're going to be outrageous the whole weekend. So, and what's funny is it was a different vibe last year. You know, I think because of we knew that Jackson State's Coach Prime was leaving, you know, that game had a different feel to it, you know. And then, of course, the loss kind of made people feel some kind of way, you know. Either there were people extremely satisfied, or Jackson State fans were just kind of, you know, a perfect season had kind of been flushed down the toilet. So, but this one, you know, I think for FAMU to be who they are, where they're at, and then I think Howard brings that breath of fresh air. I don't think anyone thought, honestly, if they're really telling the truth, they didn't expect Howard to be here. I think a lot of people expected North Carolina Central to be in this spot, going for a chance at repeating, or at least going up, you know, your quote unquote 2 best teams going at it. So, you know, Howard could be that team for the next few years. Who knows? And so I think there's definitely a breath of fresh air, you know. Okay. I want to give a mention here to some of the accolades that some of our FAMU football guys are receiving. Let me see if I can pull up the share screen here with some postseason award flavor. Let's start with these guys right here. Box to Row All-Americans. They are Isaiah Major, Kendall Bowler, Cameron Colvin, excuse me, named Box to Row All-Americans. You know, obviously Major is the SWAC Defensive Player of the Year. He finished 16th in the Buck Buchanan Award voting. He finished the season with 100 tackles, 11.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, a fumble recovery, and a pick 6 against Alabama State. Bowler, one of our 2 lockdown quarters for the number 1 rated defense in FCS football, finished with 37 tackles, 14 pass breakups, 2 tackles for loss. In the game against Alabama A&M, he had 8 tackles and 4 pass breakups. Bowler broke up a pass in 8 games and led the conference in pass breakups with 14. He was a semifinalist in the Aeneas Williams Award, which is awarded to the best defensive back in HBCU football. Cameron Coven started 12 games at right tackle, all 12 games at right tackle. He's allowed 0 sacks on 377 pass blocking snaps this season, responsible for 16 dominator blocks. What are dominator blocks, Kelvin, for those who don't know?
I don't know.
Okay. And
I'm not familiar with that term.
Okay. And 14 knockdown blocks. He had a PFF grade, that's Pro Football Focus, of 74.1 in pass protection, including 4 games with a grade above 80. Congratulations to those guys. And there were some other All-American awards as well, if I'm not mistaken. Correct, guys?
Yes, there were.
Yeah, I think the other one was FCS Football Central.
Yes.
Yeah, FCS Football Central named Trey Wilhoit and Isaiah Major to their All-American team. Now that is over the entire FCS football. And I believe those of you who are familiar with Zach McKinnell, the Blue Bloods, I think Zach is a part of that FCS Football Central group. Major and Wilhoit were third team all Central or third team All-American on that. And I'm sure there'll be some other awards coming out as well for these guys. And some of these guys, I know Phil Steele usually does something as he covers the FCS, and there'll be some others as well. Any other football awards that I'm missing that we didn't mention here? Anything come to mind, fellas?
Nothing recently. I think I know before we've had the slew of awards that came out near the end of the season or between the during the bowl prep time.
Yeah. Shout out to our fall football graduates. Looks like there was only really about a handful of guys that grabbed 4 guys. Tyler Pye, Jeremy Musa, Kelvin Dean, and Jalen Goss finally finished up their graduate work. And congratulations to those guys. A little smaller class than what we're used to, but I'm sure there'll be more guys finishing up in the spring. There was a large group over the summer and the spring. So, there'll be more to come.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys already. We got a lot of guys already who graduated. So,
yeah,
that number's not surprising to me.
Yeah. Just in case you didn't know, as it relates to FCS longest active winning streaks, overall, FAMU has won 10 games. That ranks second overall behind South Dakota State, who is 27. And they are in the semifinals of the FCS Final Four. In terms of home streaks, It's FAMU and South Dakota State, both with 20. Now, I think isn't South Dakota State hosting a game this weekend?
I think they are. I think they're hosting North Dakota State, who upset
Yeah.
I think South Dakota last week. They kind of put it to them.
Yeah,
I
so
guess that's the quarterfinal.
that was that cold game. Yeah, I saw that against Villanova, man. It was so cold. They had those they had heated trailers. Like we have the ice trucks. They had heated trucks on the sideline. For that's how cold it was in South Dakota. But so yeah, assuming if South Dakota wins, they will move into first place. Obviously, we have no more home games until next year. In terms of conference foes, FAMU sits at the second longest streak against conference opponents at 16 consecutive wins. South Dakota State has two in front of us at 18. Now, for both us and South Dakota State, it's included in the postseason play because obviously our SWAC championship game counted as the 9th game against a conference opponent. And South Dakota State also had a similar situation where one of their 18 was a postseason game. Yeah. Let's see. What else is there? What else as it relates to football and sports? Do you want to go through maybe before we mention some of the other Rattler related stuff? Do you want to mention some of this coaching news that's come out lately? Do you want to get into mentioning that for a minute?
Yes. Absolutely.
Well, the first domino in the coaching carousel was Chinnis Berry deciding to take the role in the head coaching job at South Carolina State. Of course, South Carolina State's only had 3 coaches in the history of the program, which is just amazing when you think about that.
It is.
So now he becomes the fourth head coach of South Carolina State, and we will see Chinnis, of course, to open the home schedule next year. And so if you heard the press conference, I believe it was yesterday, boy, there's nobody who sells.
He was hollering at everybody.
There's nobody that fires up. There's nobody who fires up the troops better than Coach Berry. So, of course, we know the relationship that Coach Berry and Coach Simmons have is a pretty good one, close one. So it'll be kind of fun. 2 guys who have become masters of preaching the 1-0, be where your feet are concept. So, probably more so Simmons, pulling he even admitted to that when we talked to him. A lot of that has come from Berry. So we'll see. We'll see how quickly Berry can maybe keep some guys who might have hit the portal, including a couple of pretty good running backs, and what he's able to do in that South Carolina area. What's your take on that, guys? Are you surprised that, we learned that he was up for the Southern job. We learned that he was up for the Texas Southern job, but he chose South Carolina State. What's your take on that?
It makes sense. It means that South Carolina State did their homework, in my opinion. And that's what I'm going to hit on with the other SWAC schools who still looking for coaches or had to go to their backup plan. They couldn't afford to fire the guy they fired. And so they fired the guy they hired the guy who was on his staff, kind of stuff. Yeah. South Carolina State did it right.
Talking about?
They did it. They did their homework, and they got the guy that they wanted. And it's a great fit. Is a coach who already knows the area, who already lives within the area, who's had success within the area, who has an opportunity to be there for a long time. Age-wise, he's a fairly young coach. So he fits the profile of what South Carolina State does. and Buddy's still going to be around. I think all those things kind of made the decision for Coach Berry, to be honest, along with him and Willie being kind of close, and I'm sure he bounced some things off of him as a colleague. So South Carolina State just did, they announced the AD before they announced the coach, so he knew who he would be working for. So I just love everything about what they did. I think it's a great fit, and I think they'll be back to their winning ways pretty quick.
Marcus, you want to add anything there?
No, I think if South Carolina State would have let him get out, they definitely would have gotten crucified, because he was sitting there right there. He's 22-2 in the last 2 years.
Right.
I believe. And I think the only 2 losses have been the playoff losses.
The playoff losses. That's it.
So he has to get over that hump, in terms of postseason success. But then he's got a strong support system at South Carolina State in terms of having in the back of the administration a new athletic director who just based on social media responses seems to be pretty well received and well thought of. And everything is lining up. And South Carolina State, in and of itself, I think, is on the upturn compared to what we saw the last couple of years, where before they got a new president, there were rumors, or maybe even found some substantiated things that South Carolina State was on the edge, but they've turned it around. And
I don't know about.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and like Coach Pugh said, they're kind of like the Pittsburgh Steelers in an HBCU realm, and the Steelers, and if South Carolina follows suit, they don't make rash decisions. They keep folks for a long time, and they're pretty supportive through thick and thin, and they allow things to get worked out. From what I've seen, just the time that I've observed South Carolina State, having been a student and then following the MEAC as a FAMU fan, they don't make a whole lot of, at least on the football side, they don't make a whole lot of knee-jerk reactions.
Yeah.
So there's not gonna. I wouldn't suspect. It would be totally out of character if things went south or things started off slow for Coach Berry, which I wouldn't really expect. Even though I do hope they lose the first game of the season next year.
Yeah.
But I would. There's not going to be a knee-jerk reaction, because I don't know if the fan base. I don't know to what degree they're like that. We've seen in other fan bases, including our own, where something like the first 2 seasons doesn't go right. Here come the pink slips, or people threaten pink slips, or let's buy them out.
Well, the good thing is Coach Berry has the credentials of what he did at Benedict. And I think, we talked about this last week. Benedict has a lot of Benedict alums and faithful, when Benedict didn't have a program, became South Carolina State fans, because in that Charleston area, as we found out, you didn't have teams from 68 until maybe the mid-90s. You didn't have football fans. So those folks in Charleston became South Carolina State fans. So anybody who was a Benedict fan who appreciated what Chennis Berry did in building them up to be a national power, you're excited. You're excited about what he can do with the pedigree of South Carolina State, and so you're going to see those stands packed again. You really are, and I think that he's going to really challenge the recruiting. I don't know what financials and all that stuff look like, but from just he will sell water to the hydrated, and I mean it'll be really well received. So my quick knee-jerk question here for both of you: is South Carolina State the favorite to win the MEAC next year? Yes or no? Are they the favorite to win the MEAC next year? Should they be the favorite to win the MEAC next year?
To me, no. I mean, I haven't done a deep dive,
No.
But you got to look at Central, who they have a lot of people leaving, but who's coming back for Central, and Howard. I mean, we're playing them. There's,
Central's lost their two star players.
Yeah, I know. Davius Richard, I believe, is a senior.
Graduated. He's gone. Yeah.
So, but I still have to see who they're bringing back. because they're not gonna. I don't think they've loaded up just for 1 year, so they probably got some stuff in the pipeline. Howard looks to be formidable. Not sure what Norfolk's gonna do. I mean, they've seen
Morgan.
some. Yeah, Morgan's defense is tight. The offense they got to get straight. And it seems like it's been that way for a while, even before Damon Wilson got there. They had a decent defense, but the offense seemed to be kind of, even when we played them in 2018, 2019, their defense was decent. It's just the offense seemed to have fits and starts. So I wouldn't say South Carolina State's the favorite, but they'll be in contention just by mere fact there's only 6 teams in the MEAC. And if they can convince that freshman running back to come back.
Yeah. You got to find a quarterback too. I think they got to find a quarterback.
Yes.
They're going that's the key. They're going to modernize the offense. I think I'm interested to see his offense in the MEAC.
Yes. Yeah. Well, with the exception of Delaware State, sorry about that, Marcus, but I think there are 5 schools who will be interesting stories to watch. But at the end of the day, for the MEAC, it's going to come to what they do in the non-conference. I think if the MEAC wants that respect nationally or in the HBCU diaspora, they got to go win these non-conference games. I mean, you play 6 non-conference games, more schools that can win 4 or 5 games in the non-conference schedule will make for more attention. And unfortunately, that didn't happen this year, with the exception of North Carolina Central. The rest of the MEAC did not do that. So we'll see what happens with South Carolina State. All eyes will be on Tallahassee, I believe, Labor Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Labor Day weekend. But if you go check our poll out, let us know what you think there. Interesting. Let us know what you think there about our poll. mybcsn.net/watch/polls. What could that game look like in another site? Okay. Going into this week, we knew that Grambling didn't have a coach still. Southern didn't have a coach. Texas Southern didn't have a coach. At that time, it was 3 schools. Now the list has changed. Grambling still doesn't have a coach. Southern has a coach. Texas Southern has a coach, but Alcorn lost a coach. Yes. Southern decided to stick with Terrence Graves, the only man to win the Bayou Classic for 2 different schools. He will stay on at Southern. They had his press conference today. It was really interesting press conference. Lots of thoughts there. Another Southern guy, a former Southern defensive coordinator. I think he coached under Pete Richardson. Southern's trying to get it right. So we'll see how that goes. And then, Texas Southern, they do it big in Texas, boy. They shoot big. And we knew that they had interviewed not only Chennis Berry, but they interviewed Alcorn State's Fred McNair. Again, I got a text when I woke up this morning that said McNair's taking the Texas Southern job. And I was like, huh? And this is from someone in the coaching fraternity. So I had to go and kind of do a little digging, haven't heard anything. And then about this afternoon, I started hearing some reports that, McNair interviewed well. And it looks like the reports are running out there that Fred McNair is now going to be the new coach at Texas Southern. Some interesting news regarding, how the things kind of went down at Alcorn, let's just say, I got a feeling when the reports come out, Texas Southern's cutting a nice check to Coach McNair. And so he will take his talents to Texas. And now Alcorn State needs a coach. And Grambling is having a search committee, I believe, to try to find a coach. So, I mean, they're still looking for a coach. What's your immediate take on Coach McNair going to Texas Southern? Southern keeping their coach, I guess you could say. What's your thoughts on that, Kelvin? And then Marcus?
Well, my thoughts on Texas Southern is great job. You know, you got a established coach from a rival in the West Division who's had a lot of success. I mean, won multiple SWAC titles and been in the Celebration Bowl. You're in a state, in a city that can recruit. You play in a professional soccer stadium, and you're going to have a better budget to work with, a much better budget to work with than he had at Alcorn. So I get it, and I think it's a great pickup for Texas Southern, and they can be competitive in the West right away, I think. Now,
especially if he's able to keep that quarterback and get that quarterback to come back.
Right. Now, Southern, it's more the same for me, right? Richardson, the guy they hired, been on the same staff multiple times. They both were on the peak. I don't think you make the same. You don't make a move like they made and not redo Dooley and then hire the guy who worked for him as a coordinator. I just don't. It may work out in the sense that they might go 6-5, 7-4, what they do. But I don't see it as a substantial better move. And frankly, I think it came down to money. When the AD started leaking stuff saying that people wanted NFL Power 5 salaries, when people apply for those jobs, even if they are at Power 5 schools and so forth, they understand what the salary is. But I think part of what worked against them, frankly, was the fact that they did fire a coach after 2 years, a coach that had won the SWAC West. I mean, so you don't honor your contracts, and when it don't matter. And so I think they hurt themselves with that, and so they had to. That was the least expensive way to have a coach try to keep some of those players, but I think ultimately the results going to be the same. They're going to be a 6-5, 7-14.
So here's what I'll tell you, Jeremiah. Is it confirmed? Meaning, has Texas Southern made an official statement? No, they have not. But I do know I can confirm that the offer by Alcorn State was denied. It did not meet the expectations of Mr. McNair, Coach McNair. So with that said, unless at the last minute the whoever the board is at Texas Southern that has to make the final approval, unless they balk at something, it is believed strongly that they will okay whatever the contract terms are, or they just finishing dotting I's and crossing T's. But it's believed. I'm looking at reports from Sports Illustrated, HBCU Game Day, HBCU Sports, WLBT, several media entities reporting it's out there. So I'm not breaking any
it ain't
news.
coming from nowhere. Right.
Yeah. I'm not the one breaking news. Maybe I could have at 6 o'clock this morning, but I was too tired. Anyway, that's not my thing. I get no satisfaction from that, from throwing that out there, But yeah, what's your take, Marcus? Your thoughts?
As far, I was mildly surprised. I mean, we've seen the stories and the rumors for about a week and a half, 2 weeks about Coach McNair, and I was a little surprised. I was like, is he really gonna leave? And so I wasn't sure because he's an Alcorn lifer.
Well, here's what I learned. At Alcorn, it's not just there's some administrative things. Alcorn is in the midst of having an interim president right now. So you're not only dealing with administratively some issues. I think there's still some there was a lot. You can go back to as far as that COVID year when they were supposed to play and then they didn't play. that's where things, I think, started to turn south. Then there were some, then you look at the team trying to recover from that, and then having subpar seasons the 2 years after COVID. Of course, very challenging schedule because, less budget. And then you could just kind of hear it in just various things. I think this year was the first time, I think, since prior to COVID, that McNair was really, they went into the season, they didn't offer him a renewal. So that should have tipped you off that, okay, he's playing for a contract. Now, whether he should have had to play for a contract, look, whenever you have new administrators, that also means that's, hey, the coach has got to, he's either got to be someone that the coach knows or has the backing of. And, apparently, even though the new interim president is someone that knows McNair very well, they played together apparently back in the day, but that's still, he's the interim, so he can only do so much. So, and then also it comes down to money. From what I was told, Fred McNair wanted a very healthy number, and Alcorn wasn't quite ready to give that particular number. They had a good offer for them that they felt like, and go there. Kylan, I don't think you're too far off base with your numbers there, to be honest. So I can't say you're too far off in your numbers, but so I think some of those were some of the factors. So I think it'll be interesting to see once it comes out, to go there. Yeah, Jeremiah, I appreciate you looking out for me. Thank you. I don't want to be spreading fake news. I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you.
The one thing I'm interested to see is, once he hits the ground running, I mean, the majority, I know he's been SWAC for a while. I'm just interested how long or how short of a time it would take him to get the landscape in Texas versus what he had in Mississippi.
I gotta imagine he's recruited Texas. Mississippi is right there next to Texas. I gotta imagine, and my priority number one has got to be Andrew Body. I mean, think about, if I will say this, if you think about what Fred McNair has done with quarterbacks, and he's had seasons where he's had a quarterback that he's kind of pulled out of the air, so to speak, no pun intended, and done great and had a great season. I mean, Andrew Body should be salivating at saying, hey, this might be a great situation to go back to Texas Southern. But again, McNair is going to have to recruit him back. And, if someone else in the SWAC hasn't already, been recruiting, but whoever in the SWAC is recruiting Andrew Body, they are, maybe with the exception of Grambling, they're already weeks ahead of Texas Southern, right? I would imagine.
Potentially. But the thing is, you don't know who he's going to be able to pull in, either as a transfer or the contacts he's already made in recruiting when he was doing it for Alcorn. Because I think, a couple months back, they got a commitment from a 3-star quarterback out of Georgia or somewhere. So who's to say he doesn't end up in Houston? He might just follow Coach McNair. Because nobody's signed yet. Signing day is next week.
Right.
The early signing period. So dude might flip, and say, hey, Alcorn's nice, but I was going there for Coach McNair. So if he's in Houston, bigger city, boom, I'm going to Houston. And then the newcomer of the year for the SWAC was Andrew Body's replacement. And he was decent and impressive when we played him, when we played them. We just overwhelmed them even after a sluggish start. But he made some good throws and some good decisions. It's just, we had the better team that day. So you want to have a good QB room, but Body's already in the portal. And if he pulls this 3-star recruit that he had verbally committed to him at Alcorn, and he's got Jace Wilson coming back, he doesn't necessarily have to ride the Andrew Body boat.
All right. You make a very valid point. But I'm speaking for Andrew Body. If I know sometimes, Mama Body watches the show, and it'll be interesting to kind of see what decisions are being made. But like you said, with signing day coming up a week away, that's why this, I won't be surprised to see if everything is official by Friday, maybe even Thursday evening, so that Coach Manera can get out on the recruiting trail on behalf of Texas Southern. And then it remains, how soon will Alcorn have somebody? And then Grambling. I mean, how soon? How long is Grambling going to wait? How long is Grambling going to wait to name somebody? Yeah, but there's going to be money. Yeah,
I'm predicting January, 1st of January for both.
Wow.
I mean, like Kelvin was saying earlier, or both of y'all were saying, Southern and Grambling are on the hook for what, at least 2 more years for both of those coaches they just fired. So that's money going out the door. That's dead money.
Not so much for Grambling. No, I think the belief is that Grambling, that if I recall the story that I read or heard from HBCUsports.com, once I think the December, whatever the end of December, or whatever there's a date at the end of December ends, that they are pretty much off of the Hugh Jackson payroll. Hugh Jackson really only had a 2-year guaranteed by a certain date.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but trust me, hey,
let me say this.
Hugh Jackson, let me say this real quick. Hugh Jackson made more than he made enough money for 3 HBCU coaches last year and this year. That's fact. So I understand. Grambling's like, yo, this isn't cutting it. We got to go. But don't cry for Hugh Jackson, because he made a lot of money at Grambling. That's all I'm going to say. What were you going to add, Kelvin?
I was just going to say that the Grambling situation is problematic. I know what they put out and what they said, but I would tell you that HBCUs are pretty bad at contracts and interpreting them. We've had some coaches that we said we didn't have to pay, and we ended up having to pay later on down the road when they took us to court. So if I'm a bed man, if I'm a bed man, they still gonna have some money they're gonna have to pay Hugh Jackson. I just want to throw that out there.
Mm-hmm. And I'm on the same board with Kelvin as it relates to Southern. I don't know how serious a player they were for Coach Barry, but it seemed like after that they were like, fold up the tent and going back with familiar instead of.
Wait a minute. Say that again, Marcus. Wait a minute. I'm sorry, I missed that. Who was on
Southern?
Who was saying for them? Oh,
for Southern. Yeah. I don't know to what degree, how serious they were, or how much of a consideration they were with Coach Chennis Berry, or how serious they were about pursuing him. Once again, considering they're on the hook for Eric Dooley's money. But it seems like, and it reminded me, just as Kelvin was saying, how this is off the Pete Richardson tree, and they're continuing that. And I don't know enough about it because I wasn't old enough, but you guys might recall, I guess, all the coaches that came right after Coach Gaither. They're all Gaither's boys, but just didn't have the same success. And I don't know if they're falling into the same pattern or thought process. And it took someone from outside the family, if you will, to bring a fresh perspective for FAMU to get to that point where we were navigating changes in the NCAA, but had enough substance to pull in championship caliber players and have championships. And Southern, it's like probably my second favorite HBCU team, if you will, just following, and to see the kind of like just treading waters, like.
Well, I think every fan base wants, when you've been in the Valley, every fan base wants a connection to your best years. It's no coincidence that Willie Simmons and this rejuvenized period we are in comes from somebody who we could really say he's not really tied to the Billy Joe era, but he is sort of in a way, because we all know he was supposed to be a quarterback at FAMU. We all know why he wasn't. We know that story. So it kind of feels good with Coach Simmons at FAMU, and it reconnects us with the Billy Simmons era. I mean, Billy Joe era, right? I mean, obviously, even though the offenses are different, I mean, this is not the Billy Joe Gulf Coast offense that Coach Simmons runs, but you know, he's sort of tied to.
It's a reach.
I know it's not a reach. No, I disagree. It's not a reach. It's not a reach. I mean, you know, Southern's chasing, you know, what their best era, which was the Pete Richardson era. I mean, I don't know what Texas Southern's had great eras, so I'm not gonna poo-poo it. But you know, Grambling, I mean, I'm sure somebody's gonna be looking to say, I mean, well, they had it in Fobbs, I guess, because wasn't Fobbs part of the wasn't Fobbs part of the Eddie Robinson? Didn't he play for Robinson back in the day? I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I'm reaching.
Yeah, Fobbs did play at Grambling, if I remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, we'll wait to see what happens. We'll see if any more news comes out tomorrow. I would imagine, you know, we'll see what happens. Got a final score here. Chuck Hunt brings us a final score. Fort Valley State 23, Johnson C. Smith 10. SIC representative gets the bowl victory in the first annual Florida Beach Bowl. Congratulations to Fort Valley State on that win.
The people were just up at empty seats.
Yeah, how? Well, look. I would, okay, yeah, it was a game during the week in South Florida between two schools that really don't have any ties to South Florida. I mean, Karen says it was a great game though. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and take a look at it and see where I can see it. You brought up the issue of finances, Kelvin. Once this Celebration Bowl ends, we will have to have a conversation again regarding FAMU and finances. We will. I got some thoughts based on, yesterday, last night, just this past week, maybe the past 2-3 weeks. I feel like I got to get my thoughts together. So, I mean, and I got to ask questions, or at least put the question down in writing so I can really see it. But I think we got to get back on mission. I think with our show, and we got to start shining the light on some things, because, this is a big opportunity for FAMU. This is a big opportunity for FAMU this week. And somehow, let's just say there is no greater stage that FAMU has than what they're about to get Saturday. And I hope that our athletic department, but more so our university administration is willing to let our athletic department and assist our athletic department in capitalizing on this financial opportunity that is here. And I mean, I could go as far as a simple find a way to donate. If you've paid attention to those 50-50 raffles that the athletic administration or athletic department has tried to do, you understand when you hear the number that the winner gets, that other half is going to the athletic department. And it ain't been very high. So what that tells you is Not a lot of people are participating in that. Why? The giving horribly low. Why? Why isn't athletics being allowed to be great? And I think that, and again, so we're going to watch the Celebration Bowl. I don't want you guys to think about the finances. Don't think about how much money is coming in for this game. Just enjoy the game. Enjoy the game. Okay? We're going to talk about the finances and whether it be missed opportunities or opportunities we took advantage of. We'll talk about that after the game. Are you guys in agreement with me on that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to get his chip right now.
You're right. Right. We need to concentrate on getting that chip. Can I show you my other graphic that I worked so hard at?
Sure.
My other graphic. Let's look more matchup here. FAMU versus Howard. When you start looking at, third down, fourth down, red zone, Howard very efficient on third down. You can see them at 46%, actually better than our 40%. Of course, you take into consideration our defensive numbers for our third down. We don't give up very many third down opportunities. So if Howard is going to get first downs, it's going to happen on first and second down, historically. Fourth downs are kind of a crapshoot, I believe. I mean, I know it's a stat that's there, but when you look at the number of opportunities that each team has on fourth, Howard's had 27 fourth down that they've actually gone for it. We've had less than that, less than 20. I mean, you don't really hold stock in that. What I found interesting, though, fellas, is the red zone offense. I was really surprised at Howard's red zone efficiency. 34 for 41 at an 82% clip. We're right about the same ballpark. I mean, two teams. So, keeping them out of the red zone and is really important. Now, they have a tendency to give up a little bit more defensively in the red zone, advantage us, right? But I think we have to be very good about keeping them out of the red zone as well. And then, of course, that big penalties there, I mean, that is what it is. We know, we understand. We know we are one of the most penalized teams in FCS, almost 10 a game. Howard coming in at about an average of 46 penalty yards. What's your take on some of these numbers? Anything that stand out there for you guys, Marcus or Kelvin?
Nothing that won't change the narrative, at least not for me. I mean, they've got enough.
Same here. Same here. The only thing that I think that really might translate to this game, red zone, because of what they do. They have a mobile quarterback. They have multiple running backs, and the kicker is 8 of 8. I think. I don't think they try long field goals, but when they get in his range, he's an accurate kicker. So their red zone of efficiency is not surprising to me. I don't know if that translates against our defense though, but we'll see. But that's the only one that kind of I think would translate.
Okay. Well, I put all that together, and it's funny when you're putting it all together, you're looking to see can you find anything, but then, like you said, at the end of the day, you go back and you look at, this is why when I saw FAMU was only favored by 6, and again it dropped from 8 to 6, I got real hungry. I was like, let me feast, on that. I think. Again, FAMU has won 10 of the 11 games this year by 10 points or more. And you believe in Howard's defense, then you believe they have a chance at winning this game. But again, best defense in FCS football is wearing orange and green, and I think that's going to make a big difference in this ball game. I really do.
Howard cannot fall behind. They in the same boat as Prairie View. As long as they're in the game and they can play even or with a lead, then they can stay true to what they are. But if they force if we take away the run, which remember is our motto for our defense, and make them one-dimensional, just like Prairie View, they're going to have three interceptions because that's not their forte. That's not their strength.
This, I'm going to say, you tell me if I'm wrong here. The start of this game in the first quarter potentially will be the most attended game for this offense all season in terms of crowd attendance. I'm talking at the beginning of the game that they've seen all season. This place is going to be electric at the start of the game. And I think the anticipation, it'll be interesting to watch how our guys handle the adrenaline that will come with all the pomp and circumstance as the crowd fills in. And by 11:55, when you're 5 minutes away and the national anthem has finished, you know, I would almost love for us to put our defense on the field first, to be honest with you. You know, just
you mean their guys or our guys?
I'm talking our guys.
Our guys have been winning big games. Florida Classic Classic going to have more fans.
No. Not at the start of the game. No way. Not at the start of the game.
This is Atlanta, man. I don't know how big of a crowd. I think you're reaching again, man. That's just me though.
You always think I'm reaching.
Now, Howard, I do agree with you for Howard. It makes sense. Howard, this is going to be the biggest game. I'm interested to see how they react to that kind of environment.
Because even the FBS teams that they played aren't exactly known as attendance powerhouse. Eastern Michigan and Northwestern.
They had no crowds. Right.
And I think, you know, the challenging part at the beginning of the game is how much they allow, because of television, how much they allow the bands to really juice up the crowd. You know, will the marching 100 be allowed? Yeah, see, and so, yeah, so you talk about building that first quarter lead. I mean, remember, we built a 14-0 lead in the SWAC championship game, and half the crowd hadn't even got in the stadium yet. You know,
yeah, weather was bad.
Right. I mean, the beginning of the season, I don't think people. I think a third of the crowd missed the opening kickoff in the first score of the game at the Orange Blossom Classic. You know, so I'm just saying.
Well,
you know,
I mean that other team didn't have a crowd. They had a Delaware State crowd.
True, they did. Again, I'm looking for reasons. You're gonna tell me to stop it, but I'm looking for reasons to I'm just trying to get into the mindset of our guys, you know, and this is a new environment. They're playing in the dome for the first time. You can't discount that, guys. Don't poo-poo what I'm saying. I mean,
we played in three NFL stadiums and the Citrus Bowl.
Yeah, but they're different.
I think you're making them. I think you're making it more.
Stadium.
Okay. That's what you think. You making it more than what it is. Coach Simmons and the players ain't thinking that.
Okay. When you go on to the game, you go down to the field level. I was there last year. And when you get down on the field level and you see the amount of people around the field, and you start to look up in the stands, and you start looking up at the way the graphics circle around the you're gonna get swept up in it, Kelvin. You're gonna sit there and you're gonna be like, oh my God, this is beautiful. This is great. And I mean, I'm just
no.
telling you, Dick. Okay. All right. When you apologize, you
I'm-
knock on the window.
I'm a Falcons fan. I've been in the stadium.
Oh, hell. Falcons didn't draw no crowd like what you about to see tomorrow. Anyway.
This will be my first time in the Mercedes-Benz Dome. So I'm going
Oh.
to be looking around. But
right.
still, I mean, I don't think the team will be super phased. They're going to do a walkthrough on Friday. And they've been in front of,
won't be the
I
same.
mean, between
You guys-
USF,
I won't
the
stop.
Orange Blossom Classic, and the
Okay.
Florida Classic. So, like,
Don't
big
compare.
numbers of people, especially numbers in their favor that are cheering for them, it's not going to fade them.
Okay. I hope you're.
Nah.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
And plus, our game, and I didn't mention this earlier. I know I talked about the Howard running game, but you pointed out how we've increased our yards per game average up 30 yards since midseason. We've got our own stable of backs, and Howard's Achilles heel is run defense. So even if it's the optics of throwing the ball and Musa having to get used to that, if we're running the ball at the same clip that we've been the last 4 or 5 weeks, there'll probably be minimal throws, heavy reliance on the run game, and using that to set up the pass. And so there won't be that much hopefully not as much impact of him having to adjust to whatever depth perception or he has to for playing in the dome and the lighting and the angles and all that stuff.
I think you made me think of something. This will be the most well-attended opening kickoff since we played at Chapel Hill week 0 last year.
Okay.
So, okay.
And we did pretty good in the first half. Up until
okay.
that untimely INT.
Yeah, okay. I'm just saying that out there. I know Kelvin doesn't think that matters. I love that about Kelvin. He doesn't think that stuff matters, but okay. We'll see. We'll see who's ready to play when the lights are on brightest. I feel confident in our guys. I'm just again talking about the opening quarter, the opening 6-7 minutes when your adrenaline is at its highest. Can you stay focused in the opening moments and do what you're supposed to do and not commit the dumb penalty or to make a big mistake? If we can be at our best or play the way we're supposed to play in the opening 6-7 minutes of the game, it'll be a great indication for how the game will go. I really feel that way. So, that's what we got. Any of the other FAMU related news? I know we had some basketball news and things you guys want to mention. Do we want to go through that stuff here real quick before we shut it down for tonight?
Yeah, we got to mention basketball.
All right. I think since we last talked in terms of men, that last Wednesday, the men got that road win at Presbyterian. I remember that very well. That paid off for me. Then over the weekend, did you go to the game against Lemoyne Owen where they put up 108?
I did.
Wow.
Yes, I did.
So recap that game. What are your thoughts? We put up 100 points for the first time since I believe it was I've seen it written here somewhere. It's been a long time since we put up 100 points on anybody. 2012. So you were there. What was
and by the way, I was told, I hadn't validated this, but I was told that Lemoyne Owen beat Albany State by like 10, 11 points early in the year. So,
wow.
With that being said, I think we found a lineup where we're getting scoring from two other people outside of our guards. I think combined, our two bigs, the last two games have gone over 20 points. And then we've got the two guards, but then we've got a third scorer who's really, I guess, the third guard too, in a sense, Lamar. But between our our point guard, shooting guard, Lamar, and those bigs, we're putting points on the board at the end of the day. And so I think if we can put that kind of if we have consistent scoring, we'll be competitive in the SWAC. We'll probably be in 50-50 in the middle of the road.
8 seed?
Worst case scenario. I just don't know if we're gonna sustain it. But it look good. They look good in those 2 games.
Yeah, I need to confirm this whole thing about Lemoyne beating Albany State. Did that actually happen? I mean, if that happened, I mean, look, for us, given the way our offense hasn't been sharp, I know, Keith Berry thinks that we should have put up 150 points. This offense hadn't shown the capability of getting past 70. So I'm not going to say we should have put up 150 points. Is the bar too low, though? I don't know. Our bar is too low, maybe because we've seen what we had. Maybe
this team has talent. This team has. There's been times where the team didn't have talent. Just wasn't very good or wasn't well put together. Like last year. Last year was a bad job talent wise, and last year was a bad job coaching wise. The question is the coaching this year. The talent level is good enough. Is the coaching good enough?
Right. And this was that stretch, that 3-game stretch in between Oregon and Iowa, that's who we play this upcoming Saturday. The team travels to Des Moines to take on University of Iowa. But we were supposed to come out 3-0 because we played 2 Division II teams.
Iowa State.
No, we play Iowa first, then we play Iowa State.
Okay.
According to the schedule, unless I'm seeing it wrong.
I know we play Iowa State Sunday.
Yeah, well, so we're playing back-to-back nights. So Saturday we play Iowa, and then Sunday we play Iowa State. So that's back-to-back game. And then next Thursday, we're down here in Orlando against UCF. And then we finish the non-conference against South Carolina. So 4 Power 6 programs, Power 5 programs, however you want to call it. And the last opportunity to get ready for SWAC play. And, given what we have seen from the SWAC or just HBCUs in general, it's time for this team to get a win. One of these 4 games,
basketball.
This team needs to play good ball and get a win. So
I'm looking at Iowa State.
That's what you think it's Iowa State. Why do you think about it? Why Iowa State?
I watched them play last Sunday against a SWAC school, and though they have a good record and they have decent sides, I think their style of play is a good matchup for us. I think they have trouble containing our guards.
Okay. Well, Lemoyne did beat Albany State 77-66. So there you go. So for the comparison,
so that means we should have done the same thing. That's right.
Well, look, we went how many overtimes against them? What was it? Double overtime?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on now. I mean, you probably could have, but should have beat him.
Should have been a blowout,
or you should have beat him in overtime. All right.
Feed the post.
Feed the post. The Lady Rattlers. Let's see. What have they done since we last talked about them. Lost another close game
loss
on Friday. Close loss to South Alabama, 68-65. That's 2 of the last 3 that were 3-point losses. Of course, we lost to Sam Houston, lost to South Alabama. That was a home game. Did you happen to make it to that game?
I did. The foul line was the difference.
Okay, looking at the
That's what
foul
created
situation.
separation. We were in the game. That's what kept them in the game.
Yeah, we were only 8 of 9. We only went to the free throw line 9 times. Whoa, my goodness. They went to the line 26 times, 16 of 26.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. Again, that's the second time that I've seen that. That disparity reminds me of, what was it, the California game? When you're like, we went to the line 9 times, and I mean, are we really that aggressive a team that we foul that much? I mean, maybe we are, but still, seems excessive.
I don't see it.
Uneven. Yeah, seems uneven to me.
It is uneven.
Yeah. So a lot of women's teams are winning some big games, though. I tell you what, I'm really impressed by what I'm seeing from some of the women's teams. You know, Liv's been doing
High
a great
Bluff,
job.
Jackson State, Bethune.
Yeah. I think 3 of those teams are in her top 5, if I'm not mistaken. So those are 3 teams, and of course, you know, she really likes Southern, so there's a 4th team in the mix there. Question is, are we
basketball winning too?
Yeah, I got to go back and do another check of the conference ratings again, just to kind of see where we are. Because, you know, I had told you guys a couple of weeks ago that I checked the ratings, and, you know, the conference rating was better than previously expected. Just looking at it right now for the SWAC, the conference IP. Now, this is men's basketball now. Check this out. In men's basketball, the conference RPI is 23, which is amazing. Again, historically, it usually is in the 32, 31 ballpark. What that means is we end up in the first 4. We end up as a 16 seed. Can you imagine if this stays at 23? That puts us in unique territory of possibly being a 15 or maybe even a 14 seed. Now, that means we got to have one of our 2 best teams win, which is always a crapshoot in the SWAC because of, you know, just the nature of conference play. But it's really good to see the conference RPI at 23.
Good basketball.
Yeah, just for comparison's sake, the MEAC, their conference RPI is 30. Okay, now that's men's basketball. Let me go over to the women's, the women's side. And when I click on the conferences and I take a look at the conference RPI, wow, look at this number. Watch this. Where do you think the conference RPI for the women in SWAC, the SWAC conference is? Probably higher than you would have ever imagined. 11.
19.
11.
Wow.
Top
I mean,
15.
They would.
I mean,
they win. They win on the road against ranked Power 5. So it makes sense.
Non-conference record in the SWAC, 17-67. That's a 20.2024 win. And I know that sound, you'll listen to that and say, that's not much. No, dude, listen, fellas, people, women, ladies, men, conference RPI being 11 is big for the SWAC. I mean, this is unprecedented. I mean, and then if I look at the MEAC The MEAC is 27. Now, what that means, the MEAC,
and
the
most
women
of,
have,
and most of that is due. I was just gonna say most of that is due to Norfolk State. Their men and women's basketball teams are killing it.
Yes, the women in Norfolk State are 7-3 on the season, and but again, SWAC basketball is hitting right now, and so it's very. This is an important year for FAMU, and so the expectation. It's a good thing that we have two teams that we feel like should be competitive, should be winning games, because I'm telling you, I mean, this puts us in a whole nother level, and it's really going to be challenging to see how we get rated as we go along this season. But, man, I did not expect to look up and see the SWAC women ranked 11th. In RPI conference-wise, and the men at, what I say, 23? Man, that's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive. So congratulations to the SWAC men and women's.
Good trajectory.
Yeah, it is. It is. Hopefully our teams can get there. Okay. Looking here, see if any more. What is this? Track and field. Looks like we had, looks like we had 2 first place finishes and 6 medals at the opening indoor event, the Clemson opener. For FAMU, that was this past weekend. Danae Hill and William Shelton, respectively, stood atop the podium in the women's shot put and the men's 600 meter to guide the Rattlers' 6 medal performances. We had a second place finish in the long jump, Peter Salisman, and Nia Coleman, who came off of a cross-country title. She had the second fastest mile run. So, of course, Nia Coleman, who was first, helped the cross-country team to their first title, is running the mile, and she looked pretty good. So, anyway, FAMU will run in the HBCU Showcase presented by KPMG in New York, January 13th. I did hear that the track team is staying in Tallahassee over the holidays. So, they will be doing some of their training during the holidays. I know there was some conversation about keeping them on campus or finding a place that they could stay over the holiday break, which is one of those challenges that athletics has to come up with.
Hey, Brian, I think it's time to close the show.
Okay, I was going to say there's no other notes. Marcus, you could have said that. You could have jumped in and said that. All right. So let's do final bold predictions here. Bold predictions. Marcus, what's your bold prediction for the game? That deep sigh.
Let me think about that. At least one defensive touchdown. I don't know, it's not super bold, but
I mean, we've only had 2 of them, so I mean, hell, that's they don't come every week. Now, if you want to be bold, if you can spotlight a defensive group or a person, now that's bold.
I'd say Kendall Bowler pick 6.
There you go. All right, step out there on faith. speaking into existence. Kendall Bowler, pick 6. What do you got, Kelvin?
I'm going to predict a special teams touchdown, and FAMU will win by at least 20.
I love it. Special teams touchdowns. FAMU wins by 20. I haven't seen we have had multiple running days. It's like we've had days of late where we've been punching it in from 1 yard because we've like tripped and stumbled over our feet like a yard or 2 yards away from the end zone on a pass play. I'm thinking this is the week that the passing touchdowns soar. So with that said, I'm going to go a 4-touchdown passing performance by Jeremy Musa. 2 of them to Jamarie Shareed. I'm going to go 2 of them to Jamarie Shareed. I want to see a couple of guys who have really been a major part of the success over the last 2 seasons go out with a bang. And then I'm going to go Jeremy Musa, MVP of the Celebration Bowl with a 4-touchdown performance. 2 of them to Jamarie Shareed. And I'll throw Kendall Bowler in there as a defensive MVP there for you, Marcus. I'll go bold. I'll go bold right there. So I'll go with a trifecta of bold predictions there for the game. Well, that's going to do it for this show. And we will get ready for the game.
Hey.
Don't forget, be looking out for us at the Celebration Bowl Media Row on Friday, sometime either late morning, early afternoon. We'll do a live show from up in Atlanta. We'll be bringing you some great interviews with the various players and coaches that fall through, and any other important VIPs that come through. We'll get a chance to talk to them as
Pre-game,
well.
post-game?
I feel like we have to. Where is the question? So we got a day or two to figure out. What hotel can we do it at? I mean, can we do the post-game at the Alumni Hotel? Can we do that kind of stuff? So that's what I think we need to try to that's what we need to try to figure out. So we got time. Let's use our resources wisely. The team is in Atlanta. We are packing and getting ready. Drop your score predictions in the chat or hit us up. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We're almost at 1,000 followers, true followers on Twitter. So do us a solid. Share the show. Share the Twitter feed. Whatever. Do something to help us get to over 1,000 follows on Twitter. Appreciate everybody for watching. Again, thank you to Kimberly Evans. Marching100alumni.com is the website where you can support the Marching 100 as an alumni or help support the alumni group. D. Orlando Ledbetter of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, Steve Weich of NFL Network. We appreciate those 2 GOATs in media. They're Howard alums, but they are two giants in their spaces. So we appreciate them taking some time to talk to us. More importantly, we want to wish all of you Rattlers going to the A safe travels. Take your time. The game is Saturday. That's what's important, that you get there safely, that you check in, be well rested, hydrated up, because we need to be loud and proud on Saturday. It's going to be a great day watching our guys in the Dome Stadium in Atlanta. The roof, open the roof. I'm just kidding. Man, open that damn roof. Keep that roof closed. But we'll see everybody there. Safe travels on your way. For Marcus Green, Kelvin Rozier, I'm Brian Fulford. Thank you, Rattler Nation, for all your support and love. We'll see you in Atlanta. And peace up. Things up. A-Town down. We out.
Oh,